Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning into episode 70. Crap. 74. I gotta unmute you guys too. 74.
74.
Good job, James, of the X Button Gaming Podcast. Yep, 74 long episode. If you've listened to all 74 episodes, I wonder how many hours that equates to.
Oh, man.
That you have listened to me and a lot of times James and other people literally just talk for upwards of 3+ hours per episode.
74 times 3 is more than 210 hours for sure. I don't know. I don't know how much exactly.
That's impressive. I'm impressed by those of you that have listened to every episode.
Yes, they deserve like a badge of an X button badge or something.
We'll get you an X button badge on the Discord.
You got to prove a receipt of listening though somehow.
I need the full proof, please.
Yeah.
But anyway, so in this episode, it's an exciting one. Last episode we talked about the Switch 2 full reveal, and we're kind of doing a swan song episode for the OG Switch as we get ready for the Switch 2 to come out in a little over a month and a half, I guess. Mm-hmm. So before we get to that, we obviously have some other stuff to talk about, but I do have a few guests here. I have not one Dunmeyer, but two Dunmeyers, and these ones, they're married.
Wow. Did you know we were married?
Wow, this is news to me.
Wow, that's crazy.
Well, this is awkward.
Living in sin. Fooling everyone for the last 11 years.
It's crazy.
You guys are nuts. But James and Hannah, thank you for joining.
You're welcome.
Doi Tashimashite. No, we're glad to be here.
Yes, it's fun.
I know you are. It was.
I love you. I know.
No, it's kind of nice to have you guys here because when I think of the Switch launch day, I think of when we went to your house and we all had our Switches and we played 1-2 Switch and Snipper Clips and
Nice.
Fast Racing Neo.
Yep.
But anyway, before we get into that more, let's go ahead and talk about what we've been playing. We haven't talked about what we've been playing in an episode for a while, I feel like.
Yeah.
So why don't we go ahead and start with James? What have you been playing?
I cannot start until I get that soundbite, baby.
Oh, yeah. Oh, hold on.
Oh, no, I forgot.
That's what you get because I forgot to preload what you've been playing.
All right, in this episode of Power Hour, I'm talking about the powerful game that I am currently playing, which is Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. So, I am a relatively recently converted super fan of this series. Maybe not. I can't be considered super fan, I don't feel like, until I've played all of the games. And I'm not.
Oh, no, you're a super fan.
I've spent far too much time playing at least two of these games. I'm currently, I think, 35 hours or so into Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. This game has come out on, what are all the consoles? Wii originally.
3DS and now Switch, yeah.
Yeah, it's been on, and for good reason. It's an excellent game. So it's hard to describe. I mean, I brought Xenoblade up on this podcast a number of times. It's hard to describe a Xenoblade game, or Xenoblade game, however you say it. It's hard to describe it as someone who hasn't experienced them firsthand, I feel like. And this is having only played 1 and 3. Like, just saying it's an RPG doesn't quite do them justice.
Yeah.
Maybe, I want to see if you agree with this, Chris. They're built a little bit like MMORPGs, especially in their combat and their world design.
They're very open world, yeah.
Yeah. For example, massive, gorgeous open world. You can go basically anywhere. You can't quite climb everything in the same way you can like in Breath of the Wild or something like that. But generally, just massive map even with nooks and crannies and secrets where you can, battle a bunch of monsters, find items, find different paths. And the combat is real-time combat. You control a team of 3 characters who basically auto-attack. However, you use a separate menu of skill attacks that are called arts. And you move and you position yourself around enemies as you time these arts so that you get better and more successful at battling enemies. And if that sounds overly complicated, it's because it is. but once you get a feel for it, dude, playing a Xenoblade game feels incredible. It starts to feel like a dance that you've mastered, honestly. And if that makes any sense, like there's a little bit of like there is some
What
like
does that mean?
there's like a semblance of rhythmness to the battles because you're clicking arts as you're moving around the enemies as they're auto attacking, and if you're really good, you're flipping between the different team members to like, I don't know, just to be better at. I'm honest, I don't usually switch between team members in battle unless it's a really hard boss, and I just have to because they're not doing quite as well as they should through the AI. But just it's like I said, it's like a dance. I don't know how else to explain it. It's a rhythm that you get used to after you do so many battles, and if you like get comfortable with what the arts are, what they do, and how you combo them together, and how you time them to get like more damage. But you have something to say?
I was just gonna say I definitely agree. I'm trying to figure out how much I want to say because I was going to talk about Xenoblade later in this episode.
Oh, okay.
But I agree. It is a battle system that is a high skill ceiling,
yes,
but very, very rewarding once it clicks.
Yes, absolutely. And again, I maybe to an annoying point, I'm going to compare it to an MMO because it's like a huge world. It has monsters, loot, towns, side quests, and like, as you'd expect, an overarching main story. But yeah, like in many respects, when I play this game, maybe just subconsciously, it kind of reminds me of Phantasy Star Online. I get some of the same, I don't know, the same vibes, the same feels, some of the same, I don't know if that makes any sense at all.
It has some of it.
Yeah. And the fact that
it's also sci-fi fantasy.
That is true. Yeah. And like the team-based battles too, right? Like it's a single player game, but you're fighting these battles as a team, and there's classes like tank, damage dealer, healer, stuff that's very like fundamental and maybe like a trope of MMOs. So like, yeah. Anyways, this game specifically, it's set on the back of two giant titans, the Bionis and the Mechanus. And these two like have battled for an eternity until all that's left is like their lifeless bodies, which become two worlds that all these people live on. So on Bionis, you meet Shulk. We all know who Shulk is. Made famous by this game, but probably more by Smash Brothers.
Yeah, in his shirtless form.
In his short, yes. And
would you guys like to know a fun fact? All of James's, all of his characters are shirtless.
so
on Xenoblade or on Smash?
Yeah, on Xenoblade. Like he finds the most skimpiest outfit for every single one, and it's like all of his players are just showing tons of skin.
Even the guys, or like...
even the guys.
Interesting.
It's a funny thing about Smash. A shirtless Shulk has become iconic, and so I was like, when I played this game, I was like, everyone's gonna be shirtless, especially Shulk. But if I can make anybody else, I'm gonna make them as shirtless as possible, just because. When I play Shulk on Smash, he's always shirtless because it's funny. It's funny, guys, right? It's funny.
I don't know what to say to this.
something.
Your wife is here.
Anyways, the combat in this game, it rules. It's a beautiful world, even remastered in this version of it. So one of the funny quirks about Xenoblade games I like is that all the characters have like different British accents, whether it's Irish or Scottish or Old English, and I think in that way it kind of sets it apart from some other like RPGs and video games. Like you're never going to find anyone with an American accent. At least I haven't yet to this point. I think I have heard somebody that's kind of Australian sounding. But anyways, I can understand why this game is beloved, even though I'm 9 or 10 chapters in. I don't know how many chapters there are in total in this game, but it's really fun. Like Xenoblade Chronicles 3, which I played, the combat is very fun and immersive, and you get kind of swept up in these games, and they just feel different than other RPGs, and I really, really like this game.
Mm-hmm. I get it. I still want to play it. I, like you, till recently, I'd only played 3. I've only played 2, and I want to go and play the whole series.
Yeah.
Because I loved 2. It was fantastic.
Yeah. I've heard the same. I'll get there eventually.
It'll be last. When he's in his retirement home at 70 years old.
Yeah.
It's time
It'll
to
be
play.
earlier than that.
Yeah.
He'll be in a retirement home at 60.
Hey, good job. You retired at 60. Oh, no, you just put him in one.
Yeah.
Kind of just sends me off.
He's still working.
Wait, my mind still works, and my legs.
Your mind.
Your mind already is on the way out.
It's kind of sloppy.
Yeah.
No. I'm happy to hear that you're playing it and hopefully play through the whole series.
Yeah. I will. I just, well, it goes without saying, these games are super long. They're a commitment to say the least, but they're very worth the time you put into them, in my experience. And yeah, like I feel like I play one of these games and I have to break it up with a bunch of other video games because you can't. Otherwise, you could spend years just playing Xenoblade.
Yeah, I mean it's a lot of game, and there's reason to replay them too if you wanted to.
Yes, there is.
So is that it for what you've been playing?
That's the main thing I've been playing over the last month or two, honestly. I'm dabbling in some other games. I'm always dabbling in Pokemon in many forms, but yeah, that's the main game I'm playing right now.
Pokey dabbler.
Pokey dabbler.
All right, Hannah, what have you been playing? Actually, you know what? Why don't we save you for last?
Okay.
We're gonna have Hannah save the best for last.
For last.
I'm gonna get mine out of the way.
What?
Okay. I don't know why I decided to cut you off and go because now it makes it sound like this is going to be exciting.
It won't be.
It was not good.
Yeah.
None of it's going to be exciting. No, I'm just playing. While I'm remembering what I've been playing, I figured I should do it. So I'm going to go back a few months. A game I haven't talked about on the podcast, and I beat, but I did not post about because I forgot. And that is Baldur's Gate. No. Dungeons and Dragons Dark Alliance. So it's, kind of part of the bigger Baldur's Gate. I don't know a lot about Dungeons and Dragons. Like, I'm not going to lie. Mm-hmm. But I bought Dark Alliance a couple years ago because I went to a GameStop and they had the Steelbook and it was pretty cheap. And I remember playing Dark Alliance on PS2 and really liking that game, really liking the multiplayer in it. So I figured like $15 for Steelbook for a new entry into a series that I liked when I was younger. Why not? Well, it turns out that it doesn't have multiplayer on console, which of course is common nowadays. But it did have multiplayer online, but I don't know. It just sat on my shelf like a lot of things do for a while. And then in January, I read that they were shutting the servers down. So in February, you would no longer be able to play online, which meant you'd no longer be able to play multiplayer. So I was like, well, then what's the point in having this game if I don't beat it before then? Like, I need to have experienced it multiplayer. So I decided to play. I talked to Kel into getting a copy as well. So we played through the majority of the game together, and then I wanted to get all the trophies. So this was actually kind of one of the more fun multiplayer experiences I've had, but in one of the worst games I've probably played. It's no wonder that I heard very little about this game when it came out. It's no wonder they shut the servers down. This game was so incredibly mid and so buggy. Like, it had so many flaws. Only thing that made it fun was the multiplayer. So now that the servers are offline, I don't know why anybody would ever want to go back and play this game single player. It would be a slog. Is that the right?
Yeah. A slog.
A slog. I had an unnecessary
Slog.
H. It's a slog.
Slog is an enormously massive slug.
You're a slog.
Also known as a very difficult video game to get through.
They're one and the same. But yeah, overall, it wasn't very fun. Like, it wouldn't be fun to play it one player, but the co-op was a lot of fun. Me and Kel enjoyed most of it, but then there's nobody playing this game online. And you have to, for one of the trophies, you have to beat a dungeon without dying in a full party of 4. So oof. I'm like, I'm going to get this trophy. Like, it was one of the last 2 I needed at this point. So I don't ever do stuff like this because I don't like playing with people I don't know. Like, I don't get any enjoyment out of that, really. Like, but I was like, I'm doing it. So I went on Reddit and I went to the to the subreddit for Dark Alliance, and I was like, I found people who were also looking for groups, and I got a couple different. I got one guy that way, and then one random that just joined our party. One we were online, and he would wait with us for a couple days while we were grinding out levels and stuff. He would wait with us and hope that somebody else would join the party. We would not getting a fourth. Anyway, long story short, we ended up playing through a lot of this game with these 2 guys because the one guy had a lot of trophies to get still. So we helped him do a lot of that, and then we got all the trophies we needed, and we all got the platinum trophy, and we celebrated, and it was kind of a fun moment. Like
yeah.
And even Kel, because he's young, he's a bit younger than us, and he hasn't had like that much of that multiplayer experience that wasn't FIFA or Fortnite, or basically toxic multiplayer experiences.
Yeah.
So even he at the end was like, "Man, that was a lot of fun," and that's kind of what I was getting at with this game.
Yeah,
is it wasn't it? The game itself is extremely mid. I looked it up, and it got like 4s and 5s, and like I said, it was deserving.
Yeah.
But the multiplayer experience was still fun.
Yeah.
And I don't know. That's one of the things I do like about the gaming community when you find the right people. These are two people we did not know at all that we played with, and now we're friends on PlayStation, and we've talked about trying to do some trophies on other games that we've all wanted to play, and it's just kind of like a fun camaraderie that you can have in this world when you step out of the realm of PvP shooters and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't believe it exists there in the
battle
sports.
royales or
it's a lot less common at least. But yeah, that was back in February that we beat this, because we ended up finishing the last couple things we needed literally the day before the server shut down. So
Dang.
that's pretty cool, dude.
Yeah.
That is a really like you said, like a throwback video game experience. Playing something like that. Like, I don't know if everyone had this experience, but I mean, at least us on 64, then on GameCube and PS2, we really liked those hack and slash games. Whether it was like Gauntlet Legacy or Champions of Norath, especially. Oh, I love that game so much.
Champions was a lot of fun.
Those like shared experiences where you're all working towards the same goal and the same team, and it's like those games were just really engaging, and like having to share the spoils of your journey, and then the losses and the victories. It's just a lot of fun. Games like
having
that.
to like think together to try to figure out how to beat it after you lose. Yeah, it's fun. It's the aspect of multiplayer gaming that I feel it's obviously not gone, but it's fallen to the wayside a lot in the last 10 years or so, as like you mentioned, the battle royales and stuff have grown a lot more. You don't really there is teamwork in those games, but it's not the same as this.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's probably one of the reasons something like Helldivers 2 took off the way it did, because that kind of co-op team experience,
it's a lot closer to that.
Yeah. Again, a little bit MMO-like, I feel like. That's one of the draws, I feel like, of going as a team and having similar goals and quests,
Yeah, it's fun working together.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like I said, I would not recommend anybody buy this game now or play it. Like, there's no reason to single player. It's just one of the games that will definitely be on my shelf that I'll probably never touch again, because it wasn't that good. But it has a fun memory attached to it now, that I wouldn't have had otherwise. And I don't know. Like, I'm kind of glad they shut the servers down, because it encouraged me to play it and actually have fun with it.
But also kind of tragic that it's just it's just gone. That
Now
experience is no longer an option.
You can no longer play this game multiplayer. So
game preservation.
I think that without the servers being shut down, you maybe would have never played it. Number one. Number two, it wouldn't have been the same, because you had an impending deadline when you couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah, we had to get it done before then. You're very much so right.
So it makes it funner because there's a panic.
FOMO.
Yeah, I had a little bit of FOMO.
And now you got trophies that are no longer attainable, right?
Yep. I'm better than people now.
I'd be like, how do I get that really cool trophy, Chris has? You can't. Sucker.
I spent a bunch of time playing it before servers closed down. Yeah, it was a fun experience, but not a fun game overall.
That's fair.
The experience made the game fun. There we go. Whatever. But yeah, so other than that, I played A Hat in Time. I finished that probably like a couple weeks ago now. It's a 3D platformer. It's kind of got like the collectathon aspect going for it of Mario 64 and Banjo-Kazooie and stuff like that. When I started this game, I don't know what it was at first, but the controls were not clicking. I think I was trying to play it like I would Mario 64, and it wasn't as smooth as that at first. And I got really frustrated and wasn't having fun and put it down, and was almost had a moment of like, I'm never going to play that. But I don't know. And then it's always easier to play stuff on my portal, things that I'm maybe not as invested in.
For sure.
So I figured I'd try it again. And then once I started playing it again, it did click. And I don't love the camera angles in the game all the time, but that's kind of a 3D platformer like constant, that they tend to have camera angle issues. But it did end up being a fun game. So the whole premise is you play as this girl, I guess she's a kid, and she wears a hat and travels through different time periods on her spaceship. And you gather yarn that allows you to make different kinds of hats. So you have like her base hat that kind of shows you the direction that you need to go for the mission. You have another hat that turns you into like ice, so that you can use these platforms that fling you like super far away. And there's another one that lets her run fast. And there's a couple others. So you use all those different hats to, you have to, once you get to a certain point in a level, usually you have to leave, go to another world, get the hat there, and then you can go back and unlock stuff on the levels you've already been to. It wasn't a super long game. I think there's only 4 worlds, but it had a pretty decent sense of humor about it. Like it was obviously trying to be funny, trying to reach a younger audience, but it kind of reminded me of like a good Disney movie. How just because it's obviously made for kids didn't mean it's not still enjoyable for adults. And some of the worlds were pretty cool. One of the worlds, the whole thing is you have these 2 birds that are both directors of their own like movies that they're trying to make, and you're going back and forth between their different movies trying to like be an actress for them by you're basically just playing through a level, but you're trying to like, if you do things right, they get more like fans for their side, and then whoever has more at the end is the one that you end up siding with for like the final boss battle in that world. Overall, it was a pretty fun game. Not my favorite 3D platformer. There was a level in it so there's one per the norm. There's, like an ice world, there's a city world, and then there's like a kind of like a horror themed world, like Mario has the ghost houses and stuff like that. This one had, in the world, there's one level where you go inside a house, and it was like definitely like horror vibes. Like when you stepped outside of the room, there was this like a ghost-like lady that if she saw you would chase you, and you'd have to run and hide in a closet or under the table or something. It was actually pretty intense. I was surprised because the game's obviously made for kids. Well, for all audiences, I guess, but with kids in mind. But yeah, it was a good game. I'd wanted to play it for a long time because I'd heard that it's a lot of people said it's one of the best 3D platformers. I don't know that I agree with that. I thought it was good, but
yeah,
I think that if I wanted to play a 3D platformer, I'd probably still go and play a Mario game or one of the many other 3D platformers out there.
Yeah.
And then my last game that I've been playing is a game called Arcade Paradise. Have either of you heard of this game?
Is that how you posted about it on Discord, right?
Yeah, I did. Just asking if anybody's played it.
I didn't know anything about it.
So it's kind of where I was. I'd seen the cover of it, but I never really heard about it much. So what it is you play as a person. And
wow, really?
Yeah, I know.
That's rare.
So it's like they're a college dropout, and their dad, who's kind of a jerk, basically gives them a laundromat to run, and is like, try to make something of yourself. Maybe you can turn this into something. So it's a laundromat, but in the back room, there's a couple arcade machines. So it starts out as kind of a laundromat simulator where you have to like collect the change from the laundromat, pick up the trash. I don't know why you do the laundry. You put laundry in the washer and then move it to the dryer, and then you have to like go put it on a table. It's menial tasks, kind of like Pressure Washing Simulator was, where you're just doing work. But the cool part is the arcade in the back. So as you continue to do it and make money, you start to expand the arcade portion of it. First you take over more of the back room that was just like storage, and then you take over the other side that was a space that the neighbor owned, but it was unoccupied. So you get that and you take that over. Then it starts taking over the laundromat portion, and then eventually by the end of the game, the laundromat's completely gone and it's just an arcade.
Yeah.
So as you continue to make money and expand, new arcade machines become available. And each arcade machine is playable and is its own unique game. A lot of them are takes on games that are obviously already popular arcade games. Like there's a Frogger one. There's, Asteroids, Bubble Bobble, stuff like that. There's a lot of those. And then there's some more unique ones. There's a Space Racer one it is kind of like Outrun, but it's a really fun version of the game. It's one of my favorites on there. There's another one called Space Blobs from Mars or something like that. And it's kind of like what's the game where you have the bases on the bottom?
Not Robotron 3000, is it? No, I'm trying to think
so.
Oh boy, I can picture it, and like the little missiles are coming down and like knocking out bases.
Yeah.
Is it Missile?
Missile Command?
Yeah, there's one like Missile Command.
Nice.
And then there's one that's like a shoot 'em up. That one's pretty fun too. Anyway, there's just a lot of game diversity.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a simple game as far as concept goes, but it ended up having slightly better story than I expected, because the story is not a main focus really, but it, as you play and you expand, a little bit more story events happen. And overall, I just really have enjoyed what this game is. I know it wouldn't be for everybody because of the like life sim aspect of the laundry mat simulator, and then
Life sims are for everyone.
that's life.
Life sims or life? Sims.
Well, people love The Sims too. It's just like The Sims. But it's a cool game, and there's like a lot of really unique music in it. You can buy like 50 tracks for the jukebox, and it's all music that they made for this game.
That's pretty cool.
Cute.
Yeah, so like they put a lot of effort into this game, and overall, like, even though a lot of the arcade games are just copies with maybe the slightly unique twist, they're all very much so like they put a lot of effort into each one, and each one plays really well, and they're unique in their own right, like I said. And there are some that you don't like to go back to as much as others, but overall I found it to be a very enjoyable game, and I kind of wish that it got more attention. Like, I haven't looked up much like on how much it sold or if there's other people talking about it much, but I feel like it needs more eyes brought to it, because it's a really cool game, and I think it has a lot of appeal because of how much diversity there is in the arcade machines. And anyway,
What did you play this on again?
I played it on PlayStation, but it's on everything.
Oh, okay.
When did it come out?
I didn't look at the release year. It's within the last couple of years, because I know there's a physical for it. Because I'd seen that before, not in person. I think I saw it on VGP's website.
The title of the game is Arcade
Paradise.
Arcade Paradise.
Came out 2022, so it's been out for a couple of years.
I'm feeling this.
Yeah, it's on everything: PC, Switch, Xbox, PlayStation, and it's even on the Amazon Luna and the Google Stadia. So,
Get your dust off that Stadia.
and be sad when it doesn't work.
Oh man!
But anyway, I've enjoyed that game, and it's one that I kind of want to bring more attention to once I finish it.
Yeah.
I don't know how I will do that. It's not like I have a huge platform, but I think I want to talk about it to some capacity somewhere.
That sounds pretty cool.
So yeah, that's a fun game. But that's basically what I've been playing. So now you guys see why I interrupted Hanna and took over.
Yeah.
So I could ramble about some games that.
About your laundromat sim.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, it's good times. You even get to pick gum off of stuff, and you have to plunge the toilet sometimes too.
Honestly, this honestly sounds really appealing to me. The more you say, the more I want to play it.
It's a lot of fun, man. I've enjoyed it.
All
It's
right.
one of those things where I'm not like, some games are like fun, like you're having obviously like Mario Kart, like, or a Mario game in general. You're playing it, you're probably having a lot of fun. Most of the time, I'm probably not like, wow, I'm having a great fun time right now. But it's just kind of like relaxing, and like, I don't know, it just has this vibe to it that I've just really enjoyed.
Would you say it's cozy to you?
I mean, yeah, I guess it's pretty cozy. I mean, it probably would fall into the cozy game category, other than some of the games maybe are a little more stressful.
Oh, okay.
There's one game in it that I hate with a passion. But anyway,
It's good that it gives you options then.
yeah, there's plenty. That's enough for me, Hannah. What have you been playing?
Okay, so at long last, I'll tell you what I've been playing. It's not that exciting, but anyway.
Blow our minds.
Okay, well, I've got some games on here that maybe you haven't heard of, so there's that. But okay, you guys have heard of this one, Stardew Valley.
Heck
Oh my
yeah.
God.
Let's go.
What is Stardew Valley?
Oh man, it's the farm sim from the future. Okay, I feel like most people have played this by now.
Yeah.
So
Played it, loved it. We'll play it again.
yeah, this was my second run. The first time I played it was before I had a Switch. I was playing it on James's, and yeah, if you haven't played it, just do it. Like, I don't know.
Yes.
There's not much else to say about it. Like, it's got tragic backstories, and it's got dungeons, and you can get married
And divorced.
and divorced and have children. And
Yeah.
the soundtrack is like so calming. Like
It
when
is.
we're like playing it, we're just like, oh, this is so nice.
I really wanted to go to that concert.
Yeah.
We're going.
We're
Oh,
going.
you are? That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's soon, right?
It's the weekend of PAX, actually. PAX
Oh.
West. It's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the same weekend of
You're
PAX.
going to all 3 days of the concert and
Yeah.
all 3 days of PAX?
No, we're going this Sunday. It was one of my part of my anniversary gift to Hannah to go to that.
That's awesome.
I got to see if we can get a couple more tickets. It'd be cool if more people could come, So we're probably doing PAX Sunday actually this year, which is kind of unusual, but it's because we're already going to be there anyways.
That makes sense.
I don't know.
We'll have fun going to PAX alone.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm in agreement with
Okay,
this.
sorry to interrupt you. Stardew Valley though, it rules.
Yeah.
I love Stardew Valley. Well, and since you've played it the first time too, they've added a lot of content.
They have.
So
yeah.
have you been able to experience some of that now?
I think the difference between me playing it now and back then is last time I was very focused on I need to get married ASAP. And so I was just like, I pretty much played the game as a romance sim. Like every part of my day was trying to get Sebastian to marry me. And then I got married and I was like, well, this is boring.
Now what?
And so then I stopped playing. But this time I'm still playing it that way. But I'm trying to like unlock everybody's cutscenes. Like my goal is to get every single person's cutscenes and get every single person up to like friendship level like 8 or 10.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, and I've dated pretty much everyone except Alex because he's the boringest. He's just so boring.
Who are your S tier boys in this game? Who are the most dateable boys? Would you say, Hannah?
Okay, well I will tell you. Okay, so God tier is Sebastian. Sebastian.
Oh, Sebastian.
He's in a tier all of his own. God tier Sebastian.
Look, okay, like I was like, I'm gonna go into this with an open mind. Like maybe last time I just let my shallowness get the best of me, and there's other people that are better. But I dated all of them except for Alex. You can't date. Did you know you actually can't date? You can date 5 out of the 6 of that gender without getting in trouble. All at once. I didn't know that.
Before they start noticing that you're dating everyone.
If you date every single person of the same gender, they will have like, I guess there's a cutscene where you'll meet on the beach and they all break up with you at the same time.
It's hilarious. Like a beachside.
Yeah, and then you lose hearts with all of them.
Oh, this is
so
deserved, but
yeah. So I'm only dating 5 out of 6. Yeah, and the one that didn't make the cut was Alex because
you hate him.
He had
just a jock.
Yeah, like even though he has like I think like what his parents are dead or something. Like he's not that interesting. He lives with his grandparents, but he's not very nice to them. I don't know. But anyway, okay. Then in the next tier down is Sam. I almost married Sam.
Sam seems like a good kid.
He's so nice. I like his story honestly better than Sebastian, but Sebastian's cuter.
He just wins and he smokes by the train tracks.
Yeah, he's got that aesthetic.
Wait, Alex is the one that's in the pub that's always like drinking, right?
No, that's Shane.
Oh, I really don't like Shane.
Shane's got a good backstory though.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the thing. Okay, I
haven't dated Shane.
I'm not saying I've dated Shane, but I'm not saying I haven't dated Shane.
I dated Shane.
We were just really good friends.
I dated Shane.
If I wanted to, I could have.
And I think his story is like the most touching.
Yeah, he's got a really good story.
Like you're like, oh man, kid, like just don't drink anymore.
Get your life together, man.
Yeah, you'll be okay. And at the like, isn't it like the last? I haven't unlocked the last cutscene with him, but he unlocks blue chickens, and that's very important to me. Blue chickens.
They probably sell for a lot. The blue eggs, if they drop them.
I don't know if they make.
I don't know if it makes a difference.
Oh, but the blue chicken is important. But yeah, so yeah, that's good. I think that in terms of creepiness, honestly, the doctor creeps me out. I don't like him.
Harvey? He's a little desperate.
Yeah.
Harvey gives you the ick.
He kind of gives me the ick.
What's the beach dude? Because I've never befriended him past one heart because I hate him.
Elliot kind of reminds me of, who is Christine's boyfriend or fiance in Phantom of the Opera? Raul. He reminds me.
I thought you meant Christine. Okay. I thought you meant Christine Choi, and I was like, Christine has never dated anyone with long hair. What are you talking about?
That we know of.
Christine.
No, Elliot reminds me, like, just visually, he reminds me of Raul, but also simultaneously the Beast from Beauty and the Beast once he becomes human.
I hate the Beast once he becomes human. Yeah. I'm like, why didn't he just stay Beast for him?
I can see that.
So yeah, I hate Elliot.
Yeah, he looks also.
I give him trash. I do give him garbage.
Does he? Well, I mean, he probably likes it too. At the same
tragic
time.
backstory isn't that tragic either. It's just kind of dumb.
No, somebody cut my hair.
Yeah, he's just kind of like.
I don't like this guy.
Now,
go write your poems on the beach.
Yeah, he's just kind of boring.
Who does Elliot like flirt with in the bar every night when he's there? It's that one girl that has her own house in the bottom part of the map.
Leah.
Leah. They're always like kind of, which may bother me because Leah was one of the girls I was pursuing. So,
yeah, I like Leah.
What's your S tier, Chris, of Stardew girls?
Do you remember?
Do you have a God tier?
I'm a big Maru fan.
Me too.
What's her name? Abigail? Abby? Isn't
the
purple hair
Purple
chick?
hair girl.
Yeah. She I like her story, and I like when you get to play the Journey of the Prairie King with her in her room.
Yeah.
That is pretty cool.
I've Penny, and honestly, Haley has like some of the best character growth in her story.
Haley's the blue hair girl, right? Works in the bar.
No,
No.
that's
Who's Haley again?
Emily.
That's
Emily. Oh,
not
yeah.
a fan of her.
Hannah really doesn't like
I
Emily.
really don't like Emily. And James,
she's my bottom tier.
James is dating her.
I mean, again, like I dabbled. I got to know all these girls a little bit.
Did you ever become friends with Emily like
No,
long
I don't
enough?
like. I don't like
Okay.
her and Elliot are Matuli's favorite.
Okay.
I wish they'd marry each other and move to town.
One of her like upper like levels of friendship, she shows you this dance in her room, and it is horrifying. There's like parrots flapping and stuff, and it's just
What
like
is
awful.
happening
And then
here?
she's like, "This is our little secret," and you're like, "What?" And James was like watching this cutscene on the TV. I'm like, "What is happening?" And he's just like,
Dude,
James is like, I'm in love.
the whole room becomes like psychedelic and multicolored, like almost like a disco room or something. Like she's a freak for sure, but like,
Is she a freak or is she a freak?
what I'm trying to figure out if she's my kind of freak. I don't know, but like
I think no.
So I started. This is one of the games I'm playing right now too, because me and Hannah kind of restarted at the same time. Hannah got farther ahead of me because number one, she's a lot better than I am at it. But
oh my gosh, she's so bad at it.
How are you bad at
It's
Stardew
crazy.
Valley?
Dude.
Like I'll be like, "Why are you watering the plants like that? Don't you know if you just press it longer that you can water more at once?" And he's like, "What?"
there's so many little like unwritten like obvious, I don't know, fast ways to do things that I've like Hannah would be like churning in like 4,000, 5,000 gold or whatever a day, and I'm churning like 950 or 1,000. I'm like, Hannah, how are you getting so much money? And she's like, you do this, and I'm like over just like changing a couple different things, simple things.
Yeah, I was
By
like,
the end of year one, I have hundreds of thousands of gold.
oh my
usually.
gosh,
Like,
I feel so dumb in this game.
like he had like a barn and he was just like milking the cow every day, but then he wasn't doing anything with it. He was just selling the milk, and I'm like, well, if you just turn it into cream,
you
you
hold
get
on
so
to
much
it. And you
money.
get the cheesemaker, man.
Yeah, I just don't understand.
Once I started building the machines, I've started becoming more efficient. This game really tests my likely ADHD because like I think of something and then immediately I start walking that way. And you're like, oh. I'm like on the way to do one thing. And I'm like, oh, squirrel. And then I like even though it is maybe the cozy game aside from something like Animal Crossing, like this game is stressful in its own way because of the day and night system. But also I feel like that's the beauty of it. Like it makes it an incredible experience.
Yeah, I love this. I mean, obviously, I like things with like that life sim aspect to it. Like I like pressure washing simulator. I was talking about a freaking laundromat simulator. Stardew Valley. I love like I plan out my days of what I'm going to do. Like the next day, I look at the weather. It's raining. I'm going to the cave and I'm mining all day and I'm fighting stuff.
And
like,
I love doing that stuff, dude.
But when it's raining is the best time to visit characters in their house because they're trapped.
Yeah, you can't go anywhere. Hello, Hannah's here.
It's me, your girlfriend.
Oh, and fishing. Like, yeah, I plan out, especially early game. Like, I plan out my week. Like, each day has specific things I'm doing.
You have like a little journal where you're like, Monday I'm gonna do this, Tuesday I'm gonna do this.
Yeah, you got to do that.
It's
man.
such. I honestly, I should be more. I should plan it out more like that. I would be much more efficient. But yeah, like when it rains, it's such. You're so happy when it rains. You're like, oh great, I have like almost nothing I have to do today now.
Yeah, once you get to iridium sprinklers, you're good though.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, already. I think I've got one or two of those.
It's not the beach. I forget which farm I chose at the beginning, but mine can't have sprinklers.
Oh really?
Yeah, it's like the stipulation for having the water so close by, and so I'm like, dang. So I still have to wash it.
That's brutal.
I mean, I water it every day.
That's like almost like a hard mode.
It's a handicap for sure.
Yeah,
Dang.
Sprinklers are a lifesaver.
Yeah.
They save time.
So you guys aren't playing it multiplayer at all? You're just playing separately?
No, because from talking to Jesse about it, it was like I can't play unless he's playing, or the other way around. And I was kind of like, we don't have the same schedules. Like we're not playing games at the same time.
Yeah.
Sometimes we are, but yeah, like it's the same thing. Like Hannah's, I mean, we've already talked about this. She's much more productive than I am, and like we'd be butting heads a lot. Like it's more peaceful and enjoyable for us to just be playing the same game separately.
Yeah, well, that's fair. But you do play the same game separately still. You're just in the same world.
I can see what you're saying.
I almost start a separate farm just to play together sometimes and see if it clicks. It might be fun to watch James crash and burn in real time.
Just like talk bad with some of the villagers. Like this guy. He's the worst.
I was undecided between Maru, Penny, and who's the other girl? Leah again. Those were like my top 3 again with like who's the freak again? Emily?
Yeah.
With Emily like on the outside looking into my top 3.
But she's made her way up that ladder.
I
was undecided on
That
her.
parrot dance really did it for
Yeah.
James.
It gets really dicey when you find out that Maru and and Penny are best friends and they're always hanging out with each other. I'm like, oh boy, this is gonna be awkward.
Well, this is awkward.
Dude, so I was dating Sam first because I got his hearts up to the level first.
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, of course I'm gonna date Sebastian though. So then I go and start dating Sebastian, and Sam confronted me and he's like, I heard you're dating Sebastian.
Oof.
And he's like, that's okay as long as it doesn't get in the way of band practice. Because they're like best friends and they jam out all the time. And I'm just dating both of them. And so there was this one time, like I went into like their room and they both like greeted me like, hey babe. And I was like, oh my gosh.
Hannah's out here owning the town.
What a player.
It's fun.
It's a great game. Like the farm sim, but it's so much more than that, you know? Like I feel like it's just such a good game. Mm-hmm. I feel like everyone has to play this game.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be for everybody, but it is.
It's like a fundamental video game to me.
Yeah. No, I love Stardew Valley.
Yeah.
Well, okay. I feel like we've talked enough about Stardew Valley now.
Yeah.
And now I can move on. Okay, so this game is like, is it really a game? Or is it not a game? I don't know. You tell me. So, okay. I also don't even know if this is a game that anyone else on the podcast who listens to this would ever even care about. But anyway, it's called Spirit City Lo-Fi. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of like an environment sim, I would say. Like, honestly, what you're using it for is for lo-fi. Like, you're using it as like as a study mechanism or a like relaxation mechanism. But you design a room, which is the bedroom. You design your bedroom with like points that you've gotten from doing different little tasks, and then you plunk your little character you designed somewhere in the room, like at a desk or on the bed or by the window, and then you like create like an ambiance. Mm-hmm. Like there's like rainfall, or there's like vinyl playing in the background, or there's animal noises, and then you also have a pet. That's why it's Spirit City Lo-Fi. There's like little spirit pets, and you have your pets that you've unlocked, and they do whatever with you. So like some of the animals are a little bit more high tech, mm-hmm. and they will like play the Switch with you while you're playing it on the screen. And so I use it a lot, like if I like got assignments or things I need to be working on, and then I just like will split screen on my PC, and then I will have that playing. And honestly, it makes it so cozy and so nice, and it's just a cozy little cocoon.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll walk into the room and you have it on, and I'm like, I don't know what you're playing, but this vibe is nice.
Yeah.
It's much nicer than what I left in the living room.
Yeah.
Sounds like farts out there.
Sometimes James will come in because my gaming corner is in the corner of our bedroom, and like he'll just come and sit on the bed because it's just such a cozier vibe. Like it's just like, oh, it's so nice in here.
Yeah, it's easier to play
a nice ambiance.
Yeah.
Like I'd rather sometimes play my Switch on the bed than than play it with my own TV in the living room, because it's like,
by your lonely.
You've made this pleasant.
Yeah.
Good job.
But it's also got like time management goodies. Like it's got like a Pomodoro clock. Do you know what that is?
Mm-hmm.
It's like where you work for 15 minutes and then you have 5 minutes off.
Oh.
Like that kind of thing. I think you can set it to like a specific time, but it's like it builds it in so that you get to take a break every little bit. So then that way you don't get too stressed out by things. It's got that. It's got like to-do lists and checklists you can do. But honestly, it's the thing that I play the most on Steam because I've just got it on constantly. If I'm on the computer or I need to be doing something, it's like I need something that will like keep me focused.
It's cool. It's like a game that makes you more productive and chills you out.
But I don't know if it's a game. Ooh, but one thing I do really like, it's so easy in a game like this for it to be microtransactions. Like, because you're like, oh, well, I want a really cute bed, so I'm going to pay money. No, there's no money. There's no microtransactions. You only get...
Flat purchase?
Yeah, you can buy the things in the game, doing things in the game, but that's the only way to buy them.
Oh, nice.
So, and they're getting an expansion or maybe a separate game for the kitchen, and it's coming out this year. It's like
so you don't have to put a computer in your kitchen.
No. So yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, I just looked up some pictures of it because I'd never heard of it before, and it definitely has a really nice ambiance. No, ambiance isn't the right word.
It is.
Okay.
It is the right word.
It looks really nice. Like I can see it being easy to put on in the background while you're doing other stuff.
Yeah.
And lo-fi is just it's such chill, relaxing music.
Right.
Yeah.
So
And it really feels like your
cool.
own too, because like you are like, there's like a window and you can set what the view out the window is. So like you can have a cityscape or like a park or like a kind of creepy vibe, and like you can have rain or you can have little animals outside like making chirping noises. But like with the lo-fi over it, it just feels like you're in a cocoon. Like you're like, I'm so safe here.
That's cool.
That's
So,
really cool. How did you
yeah.
hear about this game originally? Just searching on Steam
It's a big cozy community
thing?
Like I've heard about it a lot on different podcasts and like other like influencers and stuff. People are really big fans of it. So
Known commodity.
I don't know when it came out. I think maybe last year.
Yeah. The idea of it's
So.
pretty brilliant, though, honestly.
Yeah, it's very smart. And how much does it cost?
Less than $10. I think it was maybe like 7 or something.
Yeah, that's that right price range for what it is too, where they'll probably sell a lot of it just
Yeah.
because it's just fitting a very specific niche.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big fan. Okay. Next game. This one, I don't think you guys have heard of it. And I say that with all the love in the world. I think it's pretty weird even for what I play. But okay, so this is like an edutainment game, you know, like education, entertainment.
Like Pajama Sam.
Yeah, like that kind of. But it is a mix of tax management and also parenting sim.
Interesting.
And so also it's like history because it's set right after World War II in Norway. And you're raising a German orphan right after the war. And it's not an exaggeration to say every single person in the town despises your child.
Oh.
They hate your kid.
The flip side of it.
Yeah, they hate your kid
Like-
and they will say mean stuff to your kid. And it's all from the parent's point of view. Like you can never see what's happening to the kid at school or like when you're not with it. You only see it like interact with it at the house. So you don't know what's happened during the day. So like it'll come home and you're like, why are your clothes all like ripped up? Oh, I fell. But you know it's because somebody like pushed it over. It's like pretty sad. Like
Yeah.
it's like pretty dark. But okay, let me go through my list because it is bullied, but it's really fulfilling because you know the kid is being bullied, you become super attached to it really quickly. Like you're like, I would die for this child. Like I love this kid.
It makes it harder when you bully the kid.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It's like so interesting because like you have very limited amount of tasks that you can do in a day. Like I think it's like 2 in the morning and 3 at night. And so you wake up in the morning and you're like, okay, so I can either decide to prep food for breakfast and then feed the kid, or I can wash the kid, or I can mend its clothes, or it comes home from school and you're like, okay, well, today should I play with it or should I...
It's like a Tamagotchi.
Yeah, should I take it for a walk or should I make dinner instead? And then at night, every night it goes, will you read to me? And that's an action. And if you don't have enough actions, you have to be like, I'm sorry, you have to go to bed. And it's like really sad, but like you have to like find this like nice balance of like trying to spend time with the kid, but also like not letting it starve to death because there is like it will run away if you don't feed it enough. And like if it's too dirty, people will make fun of it at school, so you have to make sure it's clean. I don't know. It's like pretty complicated, and I don't know, but by the end of it,
Is it a he or a she? You keep saying it, but I'm like,
because it can be a boy or a girl.
Oh,
so mine was a
I see.
girl, but you could play it as a boy.
oh, interesting.
I think mine's name was like Karen, but I think there's also like a Klaus. I don't know. Like,
Klaus.
but
Wow, interesting.
It is super fulfilling, and also the decisions that you're making while you're talking to the kid, like it'll be like, where are my parents? Like, where are my real parents? And you can like choose to tell them the truth, or you can like hedge your bets, or you can like straight up lie to it. And depending on what you do, the kid will turn out a certain way. Like you're like making decisions. Like you can be like, you can stand up to your bullies, or I'm going to go down to that school and I'm going to tell your teachers off. Or you can be like, you know what? You just need to like, just try and stay out of their way. Like you can like totally go different directions with it. And then at the end of each chapter, after you've like faced the boss or whatever,
Boss.
like I don't know, like whatever big thing is happening. Like there was like one situation where like you had a Christmas party and she stole the Christmas presents and gave it to her friends at school because they convinced her to, because they're like, we'll be your friend if you steal the Christmas presents.
That's so tragic.
And I had saved up for months to try and buy like a present for her, And
then she gave it to
and
her
she
bully
stole
friends.
it and pretended like
Oh.
I didn't take it, and it was awful. It
This
was
is
awful.
heartbreaking.
No, it
You're
was.
raising a little liar.
Right. And then so you had to teach it, and like you had to like make a decision about like, am I going to like be really hard on you about this, or like am I going to like hear you out? Like, I don't know. Anyway, so like it's really good, but then at the end there is something that's like really like triggering that happens. You never see anything happen, but if you want to play this game, just like look up the trigger warnings on it ahead of time. But it's a really, really good game, and I really liked it. And I kind of was like, maybe parenting sims are my thing.
Maybe I can parent for real.
Maybe not that. But anyway, you're really attached to it, and I think that shows what a good game it is, because by the end, like when stuff was happening, like at the very end of the game, like you don't know what's happening to the kid at school, but you're like, something bad is happening and I don't know what it is. And I was like panicking. Like I was sitting there like, you're clicking all over the screen because the kid won't talk to you, the kid won't eat, the kid won't bathe. Like you're like, I don't know what's wrong with you and I don't know how to fix this. And I was like, that's crazy that this 5-hour game, I'm so frantically trying to figure out what's wrong with this kid.
Yeah.
Like I'm so concerned.
To get you that invested in a short period of time is pretty impressive.
Right. So this game also though is getting a follow-up game as you're following the kid to the next town it goes to.
Oh, so
So-
it doesn't get to stay with that person?
No, it does.
So it'll be more like
It does.
It'll be
You're,
more like
you're moving to a new town at
be
the
more
end
like
of
a
the game.
teenager or a preteen or something.
I don't know, but it's moving to a new town, and hopefully, I'm sure that it will be bullied there too, but hopefully
Spoiler
less.
alert, the kid lives.
Yeah, the triggering event is not that the child dies.
That's good.
So-
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, that sounds super unique. That's kind of the wonders of, I'm assuming it's on Steam.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's kind of the wonders of Steam and the library there is that if you know where to look, you can find all kinds of unique stuff on there that you don't get on console as often.
For sure.
I'm literally not sure if I ever said the name of this game. It's called My Child's Lebensborn. It's a weird... My Child Lebensborn.
My Child Lebensborn.
Yeah, I don't know what the Lebensborn is. It might be like...
Is it a town name? Lebensborn?
I don't know if it's a town
One word?
name or if it's the type of child that it is. Like, it's like... The child is like the daughter of a Norwegian woman with a German Nazi. And that's why everyone hates the kid. So I
Yeah.
don't know if like that's...
They'd probably be resentful anyways, even if their dad wasn't a Nazi, just because they're German, based
Yeah.
on like history. That's so interesting.
Yeah.
Honestly.
And you do learn a lot of history. There's like newspaper clippings that are popping up that are telling you the story of like what's happening. And at the end of the game, they're like, this game wasn't based on any particular person's like exact experience, but it is like an amalgamation of a ton of these kinds of orphans that we interviewed from Norway.
How interesting.
So I don't know. It was a really, really cool game. I don't know if it's anyone else's vibe, but I thought I would like talk about it. So.
Did you say what the Lebensborn, what that word means?
I
You
said I
didn't
don't.
know?
I said
Okay.
I don't know if.
I couldn't remember if that's what you said. I looked it up, and apparently it was a program that was designed by the SS to increase Germany's declining birth rate. So it kind of matches with what you were saying. Yeah, it was originally intended to provide pregnant Aryan women with pure-blood children, basically.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have like it's like a blonde-haired, blue-eyed little baby.
Yeah. Like, oh,
So-
oh man, so interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, that was interesting, but I don't know. I'm definitely gonna play the next one when it comes out because I'm very connected to the child now. Like I'm like I need you to live a good life.
I hope they do like the Mass Effect thing where you carry over progress from
That'd
the
be cool.
previous game.
I hope so. Well, anyway, for my last game, I just started Fire Emblem Three Houses. Me and Christine over the weekend. I've only played like probably 6 hours.
Okay. So
So-
not too much to say about it yet.
Not yet.
But I think it's about probably 15 hours or so before you really get into the meat of the game.
Right.
But I'm excited for you.
We both chose Blue Lions because of romance reasons.
Yeah, I get it. That's how you pick in that game.
Yeah. So, but I think it's tactical RPG, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think once I understand, I'll like it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it's your first like strategy or tactical RPG, there's definitely a learning curve. But if you're playing casual mode, right?
Yeah.
Because this game can.
Yeah. I
there's-
would have killed all of my people mock battle 1.
Yeah,
If
there's a massive spectrum of like difficulty in this game. Like it's like if you want to play like permadeath, for example, like that's a hardcore style of playing Fire Emblem. So I never do that because it's just hard. It's just so frustrating losing somebody when you didn't mean to, even if you carefully plan a battle out.
Yeah. Generally speaking, I don't either because of that exact thing.
Yeah.
I have enough games. I usually want to play another game, so it's hard for me to do a permadeath run.
Yeah.
Unless I'm wanting to replay it specifically for that reason.
Yeah.
Did you guys play more than one run of it?
No, I only played one, and it was not Black. I played. You said Blue Lions. Is it Black Eagles? Is that one? That's the storyline that I chose. Was Black Eagles, the one with what's her name?
Edelgard.
Edelgard.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about Fire Emblem in a little bit.
All right.
Cool. That's all. Oh, but Claude from Golden Deer is super hot.
Hey, Claude.
Okay. All right. So if you did like a March Madness like bracket, and like the last two players were, you got Claude on one side from Fire Emblem Three Houses. Yeah. And then you got Sebastian from who wins?
Claude.
Sorry, Seb.
Okay, but like in Blue Lions, there's also Felix, who's really hot. And then also Dimitri could grow on me. I don't like blonde boys, but like maybe. And then there's Ash, who's like a little baby, and he's so cute. So
I'm surprised you chose Claude over Sebastian. You like Sebastian so much.
Not anymore.
Look, okay.
She opened her eyes.
Three Houses. He's the hottest one in Stardew Valley. He's not like the hottest guy of all time.
That's fair. And he's more 8-bit-ish.
Right, exactly.
8-bit mid-2000s emo.
Yeah. Right, exactly.
All right, so now that we're done with what we've been playing, we wanted to take a few minutes and talk about Mario Kart World. Because just today, at the time of this recording, they did a Mario Kart World Direct this morning. Only 15 minutes.
Yeah.
We won't spend too much time because we did talk about the game already in the Switch 2 episode, and we talked about it in the Switch 2 reveal episode 2 months ago. Or it wasn't really an episode, but that little bonus discussion you and I did back then. But what did you guys think of the Direct? Make you more excited or less excited?
More excited for sure. I wouldn't say a lot more because I was already really excited for this game. But yeah, this honestly felt like a lot of it felt like just a review or just more fleshed out like footage of the stuff we already knew about, and then maybe like 5 minutes of it.
You
was
knew
new
about
stuff.
the fast food restaurant with the outfits?
We kind of knew they were changing outfits. We'd seen the fast food restaurant in the Switch 2, the first reveal, not the like Direct we got a couple weeks ago. So we'd seen it. We had ideas maybe about what it was, but a couple takeaways from this Mario Kart World Direct for me is the courses. Like they really like showed maybe the majority, at least of the titles of the new courses, or at least still images when you hover over the actual courses. And as a massive Wario fan, my boy, my main in Mario Kart, Wario has not one, but at least 2 courses that are his. He has Wario Stadium, refashioned, I suppose, after the different Wario Stadium courses you had in the past, but also Wario Shipyard.
Oh,
yeah.
Sounds menacing.
So I'm pretty excited about that.
That is very exciting.
Nice.
Who's your main in Mario Kart? I can't remember.
Boo.
Boo. Well, you got all. Yeah, you got one. You got Boo Cinema.
I know. I'm excited. I was so excited even when the first trailer came out and I saw Boo in an outfit and I was like, oh man, he gets outfits. I'm so excited.
I'm going to dress him up.
I'm going to be so excited.
Yeah.
My mains are Boo and Baby Daisy.
But now, what are you adding to that lineup?
Cow. Why is it just Cow? Like, they didn't even name it?
Doesn't need a name. It's
what?
Just cow. It is the end-all be-all for cows.
I guess.
I'm not gonna lie, like Cow was great, and I'm excited to try Cow out because he's a heavy kind of like Wario, obviously. But like this Direct really sold me on Penguin, my beloved. It's just so cute. The one from what's the course in N64 called? I can't. The Ice Glacier.
Sherbert Land or something.
Yeah, something like that.
I don't know, but they literally send this.
Why are you laughing? I'm pretty sure that's its name.
No, I'm laughing because I think you're right, and James goes, I don't know.
But they sent Penguin off a cliff multiple times. Did you see that? Like they just sent him off into oblivion in this Direct. Like
that's okay.
trying to demonstrate.
That will probably happen to you too.
Wow, shots fired.
You don't know my game. You don't know my game. I don't know. What any takeaways for you, Chris?
I think the open world looks really cool. Overall, I kind of watched the Direct this morning, and like you said, I was like, this just kind of feels like a recap with a few, just kind of touching a little more in depth on some of the stuff we already knew.
Yeah.
But the open world with kind of the it's not, you're not just randomly driving around, but there's stuff to find. Obviously, the drive-through fast food places to get the costumes, the P switches to unlock different routes and stuff.
yeah,
It looks like that looks cool.
Collectibles like the coins.
And that's to me is one of the more appealing features because I love Mario Kart. I always have. But Mario Kart has a very limited appeal to me because Jasmine will play it with me, but overall, like, I mean, we've talked about this before. We don't usually have people over that much. We usually go to other people's houses and play games. So the multiplayer aspect of Mario Kart, for me to buy the game, isn't really all that appealing anymore. But this open world has kind of brought me back into, like, now I have a reason to want to play it and to play it solo even.
Yeah.
And then the fact that you can play online or local multiplayer, and explore that open world together.
Yeah,
I think
that's
is really cool.
Like free
too.
roaming with friends together sounds really chill. Really like a blast. Like a quick recap of some of the things that were new. New items, coin shell, which is kind of cool. I think it was actually gold, wasn't it? The shell,
Yeah,
or yellow. Ice flower, so you can like freeze your enemies.
Isn't that just like fire flower?
Basically, yeah, essentially.
But it's cold instead.
Yeah, it's cold. Hammer, which I kind of like.
The hammer looks cool.
Yeah, like having like an arc that you can throw over guys that are in front of you. That sounds real, but also sounds like something that I'm going to blow myself up trying to do this kind of thing on other people. Mega mushroom,
Which is a returning
Mega
item.
mushroom.
is that a returning item?
Yeah, it was in 3DS, I believe.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. I thought that was kind of funny that they didn't mention it, but I'm like 99% sure that it was in the 3DS one.
Yeah. The next one would be Feather, which have we had Feather before? I feel like we've had something
Feather
like
was
Feather.
in Super Mario Kart.
We had more.
Okay, and then Comic, which is definitely new, where he transforms the opposing racers into it looked like an army of charging chucks, which is really funny.
Yeah.
I don't know how that's going to affect or
Looks
impact.
like it can do all kinds of things.
Yeah. Well, here's what I was hoping that Charging Chuck was going to be one of the playable racers because I love Charging Chuck so much. It's like one of my favorite baddies.
The football bad guy.
Yeah, like from Super Mario World. Just love it so much. Then they talked about tricks. Like they kind of made this into like a parkour-esque Mario Kart, you know?
Yeah. They should have called it Mario Kart Tricky, right?
Yeah, there
right,
you go.
Jaden?
Hey, man. I mean, if you're feeling that, I totally get it. Like they talked about a charge jump where so you hold the drift button while you're driving straight, and then it like shoots you up. You like hop over. You can like hop on to opponents. You can dodge shells. It looks like. So can you dodge any shell this way? Can you dodge greens and reds? And
It looks like. I don't think you could dodge a blue shell because it looks like you would jump into it.
I mean, I just that to me. Like this is going to become a fundamental part in competitive Mario Kart, like dodging.
Yeah. It's a lot more strategy involved.
I think
than
so.
Just like the basic Mario Kart that's been the same for 30 years.
Yeah, and I feel like the first thing that made me go like, "Whoa!" in this direct was the rewind feature.
Yeah.
What the heck?
Yeah, that could be pretty big if you have a lead and you know that taking that shortcut will give you more time, even if you rewind.
Yeah.
Than taking the route that you missed.
Yeah.
Or that you got stuck on.
I just
Or
think.
you rewind a little bit and then you let someone else get hit by the blue shell.
Ooh, can you use it? Oh, that's interesting. Could you do that strategically to dodge a targeting item? Makes you wonder.
Does the rewind work with when you're playing with real people or only with
I'm fairly confident. Like
CPU?
there was small print at the end that said something like you can also use this in free roam and single player. Like at first I was like, does that mean it's not in like a competitive versus mode? But I think you can use it in like Grand Prix, and I think you can use it in what's the other one called, Breakaway or Breakout or something like that.
Knockout.
Knockout.
Yeah.
Yeah, my bad. So yeah, I guess the other thing I wonder is if you hit rewind, are you gonna when you rewind, are you gonna back into other players? Because the direct said that even though you're doing this, everybody else is still making forward progress.
Yeah.
They're still racing. You're just going backwards.
I guess we'll have to wait till June 5th to find out.
I feel like that just brings up so many questions in terms of like how it's going to affect races. But
I like that if you beat all the Grand Prix, you unlock a new one.
which is
I don't remember.
probably. I mean,
It sounded like Rainbow Road.
yeah. Well, yeah. I think I think it's funny that they had to address people's concerns about that because it's like there's no Mario Kart that's never had Rainbow Road. They were going to bring Rainbow Road the whole time. I don't know.
Yeah, that seemed like it was a definite.
Yeah, like mandatory almost.
And
But-
you can compete in team mode.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, that's cool. You can do up to 4 teams.
Oh, honestly, that I think is very interesting. I screenshot it because I was like, wait a second, they're showing this team like cumulatively between them, how many points did they all get? Like so. everybody has to carry their own weight. That sounds honestly like a really, really fun thing to do with a bunch of people, like team mode.
Yeah. It could help carry some people that aren't as good to victory.
Yeah.
And that knockout mode looks really fun. Like, I like that concept of not just normal racing where you have to be fast. And like sometimes that means somebody who's really good, just the bad luck of the draw, they can be out early. Because that happens. So overall, I'm excited. I think it's looking like it's probably going to be, it has all the potential to be the best Mario Kart. So far.
Yeah. This looks like the revolution. Just it looks like the revolutionizing what Mario Kart is, and I'm very excited. And they closed it with a reminder: the bundle, it comes with Mario Kart World. So if you're worried about
only till fall.
Yeah, that was in the small print down there.
I feel like I just wonder how true that is. I feel like they're probably trying to generate a little bit of FOMO and just like funnel people towards the bundle. Like
Nintendo, how often do they lie about their things being limited?
I'm just saying, like, this might have already been part of the direct, but like to me, this is probably them answering all the hate about the price or whatever. Like you can say drop the price all you want, but you don't have to drop the price if you just get the bundle, and you have to buy the console anyway. So just buy the bundle. Drop the price, buy the bundle. Drop the price, buy the bundle. Buy the bundle. What are you doing? I don't know. Sorry, Hannah, am I angry right now? Am I scaring you?
That was something. That was pretty violent. I was going to say that the picture mode, like you taking pictures with your friends, is like Nintendo's answer for Infinity Nikki. Have you guys seen all about Infinity Nikki?
Mm-mm.
It's the game where you play as the girl with the camera that goes around and takes pictures, right? With some RPG elements.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know much about it.
You just like it's like so much of like Infinity Nikki. Like I haven't played it, but like I've seen a lot of like I've watched people play it, and it just is like setting you up for like the perfect shot, and like that's what this is now. Like, and honestly, I was really good at Mario Kart Wii, like really good at it, and I know that no one likes that one, but I was really good at it. Like I was super good. And I used to go around, like I would have Natalie play the race really, really slowly while I went backwards on the race and would like look out for like shortcuts and stuff like that. And I'd be like, how can I get over here and do this? And I was like, finally I can live out my dream of like going off course.
Yeah.
Like this is so exciting.
Yeah, no, it is super cool. I remember even playing like Super Mario Kart all the way back on Super Nintendo and wanting to get off the course and trying to explore, but it just would pull you right back on. It's really cool that they're doing this.
Yeah. Yeah, Joel made a pretty good point on Discord about how, I mean, it's a little Wave Racer-esque in that we're not going in underwater anymore. We're on water, so that, you know, it's a little...
Do we know that we're not going underwater?
No, I guess you're right.
Sure.
We don't know that for sure, but I mean, it seems like it is because they make a point of emphasizing that you're out on the ocean. You can literally go anywhere to wherever the barrier ultimately ends in this massive world. But like, I do wonder what it's going to mean for like water physics. Like, is it going to feel like... I doubt it's going to feel ultra realistic a la Wave Race, but like, I think it's just really cool. Like it just makes the world feel so big, and that's pretty exciting. Mm-hmm. Sky, water, anywhere, you know? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Desert.
Also, Hannah, I do think there is definitely a lot of people that like Mario Kart Wii the most.
Oh, good.
I think they tend to be the people that are probably like in their mid-20s now. The ones that's
me.
Yeah. Me too.
Well, I mean, so many people had a Wii, so many people by connection had.
It's still an expensive game on the Wii too. Like,
is it
people
really?
Are constantly buying it. Yeah. It's I mean, expensive-ish. It's like $40-$50, but considering that it's one of the highest printed Wii games, it shouldn't be that much if it wasn't popular still.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When we were dating, that's like when I go to your parents' place, we'd play that or we'd play
Beatles Rock Band.
The
only two games that we had on the Wii.
Well, you must have had Wii Sports, right?
We had Wii Sports, and we had like Marble Mania.
Oh, the Karinpa?
Yeah.
Those are cool games.
Yeah.
Yep.
When we were dating, I think it was our second date, James came to the house, and I was like, I'm really good at Mario Kart. And he's like, oh, I'm really good at Mario Kart. I'm like, okay, let's play. And like, he fully thought like that he was going to win, because James is the kind of person, I don't know if you've been listening to this podcast for a long time, you know, he would never let anyone win. Yeah. Never. It doesn't matter that it's our second date. He's not letting me win. Okay. I beat him. I beat him multiple times, and
job,
he
Hanna.
was shocked. Like, it was like you could tell on his face.
Did at
Like,
any point did he say, "Well, if I had a GameCube controller, I probably would have won"?
I mean, it's possible, but I was just like living off a high. And I think that I still think about that and smile because now I know James better. Back then I couldn't really fully revel in like how great it was to beat him, but now I know.
Yeah, you're just
So-
like, "Oh, this
But
stupid guy."
I'm needless to say, I'm very competitive. But like, I'm also the kind of person where if you beat me, you earn my respect. And I like people.
gonna marry this
people,
one.
people was like, as a kid, I was definitely a poor sport. But like nowadays, like when I lose, I'm like, I wasn't good enough. I have to get better. You know, that's how I view video games. And so like when somebody humbles me, like it fires me up, and I respect you. And that's probably why we ended up together, because you beat me at Mario Kart, maybe.
Wow.
But you've never beat him again.
That's why? Dang.
One of the reasons, maybe. I can't remember, honestly.
I can't remember any of the reasons, so I've got to be one of them.
Dang.
Yeah. So Mario Kart World, it looks good.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
I'm excited. Month and a half,
I would say
assuming I get a Switch. I'm still worried, even though they keep saying there's going to be plenty. I'm also worried that they're going to up the price too much and price me out of it for now.
I hope they don't raise the price. I'm just holding on to hope. I don't think they're going to raise the price because of all the outrage.
Yeah, who knows? Nintendo doesn't particularly care about that stuff all the time. So.
Is it Nintendo's fault that there's tariffs?
No, it's not.
No, but they don't always care about what
No, it's not. But the thing is, the $80 price tag is what everyone's freaking out about, even though they can get it for $50 in the bundle.
I'd pay $100.
Yeah.
That'll teach them. I want to pay more.
Can we collect like 150 people and get on that chat and just start saying, "I'd pay 100, I'd pay 100, I'd pay 100, I'd pay 100."
No, we'd lose. There's way more than 150 on any chat. The trolls are strong,
Oh man. Yeah,
But I also don't think I'd want to pay 100. Or would I? I don't know if I'd pay 100 for Mario Kart.
This is a game that we're going
You
to
don't
play
Chris.
for the entire life cycle of the Switch 2,
You don't-
which will be like another 7 or 8 years.
Yeah.
probably.
I still
I
get a
think
little.
it's
I
wor-
do
I
think
think
the
it's
open
worth
world
it.
will add a lot of playability for
Yeah.
me. But
Yeah.
I have bought every Mario Kart on every system when it's come out, other than GameCube, and I play the most when I'm playing with other people, and I never play it on my own, and that is the majority of my game time.
Guys,
So I do wonder if
I wouldn't pay $100 for Mario Kart, but guess what? We don't have to pay $100
'Cause it's only
for Mario
80.
Kart, because it's only 50 in the bundle. And again, this has been very well established on Switch 1. Every Halloween or Black Friday or whatever, there was always a Mario Kart bundle. So even though they might be trying to develop some FOMO in you by saying limited time only, let's say they end this promotion and it becomes a different box. There will be a Mario Kart bundle down the line somewhere in this system's console life cycle or whatever. There will be. There's going to be another
Maybe
bundle,
we're looking
and it's
at-
going to include Mario Kart, and it's not going to cost $80. You don't want to pay $80. You don't have to. They gave you another
But
option.
I want to complain about it.
I think that they're probably only limited production because in autumn they're going to come out with a different iteration of the Switch, and it's going to be a Mario Kart Switch.
Like an
And
actual
so-
Mario
Like a
Kart
special
Switch.
edition?
Yeah, and then that's why they're only making it till August.
And James's first next
my very next Switch 2.
happens less than 6 months later.
Oh man, would that break the record for the soonest I've bought a second version of a
It
new
would
console?
have to.
That would have to break the record.
Yeah, I'd have to. Because you didn't buy a Switch for a while. And the 3DS, you didn't probably buy one until the XL came out.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm very interested to see what the first couple new special editions are on Switch 2.
Yeah, me too. But that's enough about the Switch 2. That's the future. Right now, we're talking about the present and the past.
Present in the past.
So now we're going to get into the main topic, and we're going to talk about the Switch a little bit more. It's not the first time we've talked about it on this console, and it won't be the last time. My God, this podcast, not this console. And it won't be the last time that we talk about it, I'm sure. But it going forward, once the Switch 2 comes out, the majority of our discussions when it comes to Nintendo will be about the Switch 2. And at this point, this does feel like the farewell tour for the Switch, which is why it felt like a good time to just talk about our favorite games. We're doing our top 5 favorite games. Also talking about a few of the memories we have around it. So yeah, as we get into it, let's just talk about that for a little bit. The Switch, it's hard to believe, but it came out on March 3rd, 2017. So It's been out for over 8 years.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you did this, but I remember, and I've talked about this on the podcast before, but the hype for me surrounding the Switch was huge. because I had a Wii U and I liked the Wii U, but the Wii U was an obvious failure probably about 2 Wii's before. 2 Wii's? What am I talking about? 2 years before the Switch came out.
2 Wii years.
And like, so then you're already like, we're in the life cycle of the Wii U, and we know nothing's happening anymore, so we're trying to like just be positive and look forward to what's to come. But when they showed that first trailer for the Switch, that first commercial where they were playing it on the TV, I think they were playing Mario Kart, and then they take it out of the console and then they're on the go, like, my mind was quite literally blown.
Yeah.
Because I have always said, like, obviously I love console gaming, but I love handheld gaming. Like, it holds a special place for me just because of the amount of time I wasn't home when I was a kid. My parents, they were always out and about, and like having a Game Boy, DS, Game Gear, whatever it was when I was a kid, was kind of like a lifesaver to not be bored. So it was great to have Pokemon and Golden Sun and like your handheld Marios and Zeldas, but you kind of always wanted that home experience of a console on the go. And the Switch was like, it was that gateway to bringing that, you know. Of course, we didn't know to what extent, but it looked like, you know, we're getting Mario Kart 8 on the Switch. You know, we'll be able to play it at home or on the go. So I remember being super excited for that. And I remember me and my friend Nick camped out to pre-order it on March 3rd, or no, March, whenever I don't know why I said that. Whenever the pre-orders were, it went live. We camped out at GameStop to pre-order it.
Yeah.
We were the first 2 in line because we went out there at like midnight and stayed there all morning. It was just like, I think it was just something to do.
The midnight launches were fun, dude.
Yeah.
They were fun.
So that was, and then like, yeah, they all pre-ordered up that morning. But yeah, needless to say, my hyper on the Switch was next tier. And then also for Breath of the Wild, we've been hearing about the next Zelda for so long. So
yeah, it's Nintendo, right? So I was sold. I'm always sold to Nintendo, right? Like, if I'm a fanboy of anything, it's Nintendo. Yeah. You know, like that's my party. That's my people's. And I was really excited for the Switch. But again, I've said this before. I was cautiously optimistic because it was hard to feel any different than that because the Wii U just flopped so hard and the vibes were so down. Aside from some, you know, standouts like, you know, the existence of Amiibos and Nintendo
Amiibo
Land.
Festival,
Amiibo.
the best game.
I'm glad you thought that, Hanna, because not many people agreed with us.
You know, we were having fun where we could find it, and that's the most important thing in life. You we make your own fun.
If you found ways to entertain yourself in the time of the Wii U, you can entertain yourself in any other era of Nintendo. That's for sure. Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, I was sold from day one just because it's a Nintendo console. I don't remember pre-ordering it. I did go to Best Buy on not 320th, but on Pack Highway in Federal Way. I went to the midnight launch too. I got in the line and I got my console that night. I got the Breath of the Wild, not Master Edition or whatever, but the Special Edition, the middle one with the big box. It's beautiful that I still display in my game room. That's gorgeous. I got a Pro controller, I got a couple of video games, and I even posted on Instagram. I was lit up, and
somebody made a comment about you being a child.
Yeah, we're not gonna mention any names.
I would, but just because it was James' Instagram, I won't.
Yeah,
guy's a dick.
There's always going to be those people that think, oh, you're 25 or you're 30 and you still play video games. You should be racing motorcycles or something. I'm just like, yeah, you can do that too. I don't understand why you can't also. Anyways,
just how he proves he's a man.
My first great experience, I think the first time it clicked with me how great the Switch was, is I was at work one time. I used to work in Bremerton at the hospital there, and I remember I was sitting in our break room on the couch with my Nintendo Switch. And I was playing. It was very soon after the launch, and so I had Breath of the Wild there, and I left. I don't know how many hours I was into the game, but this was right about when I left the area just outside of the Gerudo area, and I was on a very, very high peak, and I jumped off the peak, and I used my the glider like you do in Breath of the Wild, and I glided down into the Gerudo area right above that like labyrinth, that's set in Gerudo, and it was just like, I can't believe I'm playing a game this good, a video game experience this polished and this immersive on the go, like at work, at a place where I should not be having fun. I'm playing a game this good, That is when I think it clicked to me like, dang, the Switch it just hits,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That was the first time where I was just like kind of floored with what the Switch was capable of.
No, I completely get it. I just, like, for years, my Switch was, I don't think I left home without it either. Like, put it in the case and I'm going, because you just, like, you can keep playing wherever you go. Like, I don't care that I look like a total nerd. I am. So, like, I will play this wherever. Of course, as the system's life cycle went on, I started doing that less and less, but it definitely filled a gap that I didn't know I needed as much. Do you have any fond memories with the Switch, Hannah?
With the launch?
Yeah, with that time frame?
So I think I can remember when you said earlier that you came over to play the Switch. I like can barely remember. I don't really remember. Like
when I first came home with the Switch that night, you're saying?
Yeah, because you said that everyone came over.
That was the first time I ever ordered Uber Eats as well.
I think I remember the day we played Switch 2 and everyone was 1-2 Switch. I mean, and I think I remember that. But anyway, I don't remember like a lot about the Switch launch because I didn't have one. Like, it wasn't mine. Like, at the time, it wasn't like obvious that we were going to need two. Like, I remember James being like, we can share, because it thought it's like a normal console, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't need an Xbox 2. James has one and we can share it. Like, it's no problem, right? Like, if Jasmine was really into PlayStation, do you think that she'd need her own PlayStation?
I mean, I would want her to, because I play mine a lot.
Okay, well, maybe then.
But generally speaking, a normal household, yes, one is enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so at the time, I didn't need one. But then I think I was playing Stardew Valley on James's Switch, and he was playing it too, and we were fighting over it a lot. Because I was like, I want to play, and he's like, no, it's mine, Hannah. And then
Sorry,
some people never grow up in
he
some
was getting
ways.
ready to pull that divorce paper out of his.
and then I knew that a Switch for me was coming for the anniversary because we were fighting over it so much.
He was like, "This is a gift for me and her."
Like, I went into the anniversary knowing, I'm like, there is a Switch in this pile.
I didn't even tell you, did I?
No, I knew.
You could feel like
I just knew
there was so much.
coming.
There was tension over having only one Switch.
Yeah.
This was going to be the end of us.
Yeah. But I think.
What were your first games on Switch? Do you remember on your first Switch that you bought?
The very first game that I bought on Switch was Battle Chef Brigade.
Yeah, I remembered. I can't believe I remembered that.
I played it as an indie at PAX, I think, or Nindies at Night.
Yeah, it might have been. I remember it being at Nindies at Night. So.
Okay, yeah, and we got you got an apron. I think I still have the apron. You got an apron for playing the demo.
Yeah,
and
that was a cool game.
It was very short, but I liked it.
I remember that game.
Yeah, but what I wanted to say about like that kind of like idea is like, I think that the Switch was like, I mean, before the Switch, I had a 3DS obviously, and I was playing games that I wanted to play on it, but the Switch has been so good for indie culture, and also like now like the cozy game culture, which appeared like during COVID.
Yeah.
But like now, like with the Switch, there's never been a time since like 2019, 2020 that there hasn't been games that I'm playing or wanting to play. Before that, you know, it was like we'd watch whatever the direct. I don't know if directs existed.
They were probably early days of directs, but there were events online sometimes.
Okay. Yeah. Well, like when we were watching those, we'd watch a whole one, and I'd be like, another 6 months with no games for Hannah. Like I was like there was nothing. Like I'd be like, I don't want to play any of these. But now it's just like, oh man, I actually have a backlog of things that I need to play, and it's crazy.
Yeah.
So
it's a nice place to be. The Switch is like you said, the indie movement has thrived because of the Switch, and obviously PCs helped a lot. But a lot of indie developers got the recognition that they did because of the Switch, more so than PC or any other console.
Yeah.
Right.
It became like the go-to console for so many games, maybe arguably all of them, you know, that aren't exclusive to other platforms, you know? And so it's like you're saying, like video gaming became more accessible, just generally speaking, to people. Genres that had never taken off took off. Like third parties wanted to support it, indies wanted to support it. It was just the place to play a whole, like a broader spectrum of games that there wasn't a place for that before, I feel like, and the Switch became it, you know, like it's the reason there was the, in quotes, the Switch tax when you'd buy a game on Switch, is like, because it was just going to be more expensive. They knew they could make it more expensive on the Switch because everyone had it and wanted to play games on it. I don't know. That's a good point though.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, COVID too, like the cozy game boom during that. I think just in general, the Switch was like, there's no denying COVID was a pretty dark period, the pandemic, the lockdown, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I think the Switch was one of like the bright points in a lot of people's lives. Obviously, Animal Crossing being a big one. But just on top, like people I never would have thought would have a Switch, bought Switches to play something. Most of them Animal Crossing, but I know a lot of people that played other stuff because of it. There's lots of board games on the Switch. Like we played a lot of Catan online during those days.
Yeah.
Like the Switch is probably the worst console when it comes to actually playing online with other people, but yet it's still, there's something about it that brought, I think, I mean, it sounds cheesy, but it really did bring a lot of the world together during this like dark period, and kind of gave people hope. Like Nintendo, unless they started the pandemic, they could not have known that Animal Crossing was going to be the perfect game at that time.
I'm just saying, like pop culture wise, like during the pandemic, like was associated with like a handful of things, you know, dependent on what demographic you are. But like for me, like pop culture wise, it was like, Animal Crossing, Tiger King, the Last Dance, or not Save the Last Dance.
Julia Stiles.
That's a good movie. I like that movie. But yeah, the Last Dance, you know, the Michael Jordan sports doc, because again, sports were down, so everyone was watching it. Hamilton finally streamed for the first time on Disney Plus. Everyone like finally got to see it. Like, but yeah, Animal Crossing and like video games were just one of those things where everybody just kind of came together, and it was like literally impossible to find a Switch in stores
because people were like, I need something to do.
I remember was that when I bought the one for your dad, and I bought him Animal Crossing, and it was like hard just to find a Switch Lite, let alone a normal Switch.
Well, it was definitely, it might have been, tragic backstory, not tragic. We moved in with my parents right before COVID started, because the place we were living got sold out from underneath us, and so then we had to get a new house. And so in the meantime, we moved back in with my parents, and so we were there with my parents the day that Animal Crossing came out, and I think Alex and Natalie were there too. And so yeah, like I don't think my dad had a Switch right when it came out.
Yeah.
So maybe later he got it.
But I do remember having to drive around to like probably like 10 different Targets to just find a single Nintendo Switch Lite, you know?
Yeah.
And it was just like, I feel like that was when I first knew like this thing's a hit. Like I don't.
Took you 3 years to know it was a hit.
I mean, like Breath of the Wild sold me on it for sure, but like I don't know. That was the first time where I was like, dang, it made it. Like everybody has one or wants one.
When did the Switch Lite come out?
Oof, I don't know, 2019 probably.
End of 2019,
okay.
maybe.
Yeah, it was before COVID, because I remember the Coral one came out during like early COVID.
Yeah. So honestly, that's pretty early in the life cycle for it to have gotten like a different iteration of it. I'm kind of surprised.
I remember it felt like it was pretty early too.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's when I was like, man, like everybody wants one. Clearly, it's become a movement, and it makes you wonder. It would have been a success either way, but would it have been the success that it was if it wasn't for COVID? I don't know.
I don't know that it would be a contender for the best-selling console of all time.
Sure.
It still would have been up there.
Yeah.
But
it'd be a contender for one of the best consoles of all time, but like maybe not best-selling. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, COVID did a wonder for the Switch. There's no denying it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And that all being said, like over the course of 8 years, the Switch got some bangers.
Oh my gosh.
Like as time's gone on, my love for the console has faded. Not that I don't still enjoy it, but I play it a lot less other than exclusives, just because it's shown its age and I have other consoles to play on. But that doesn't change the fact that when a good game comes out on the Switch, it is good. And that's not just Nintendo. Square Enix has had a great presence on the console. Capcom, like we've talked about, plenty of indie developers have had great presence on the Switch, and a lot of people played for their certain game, maybe Hollow Knight, Celeste, whatever, for the first time, and those are huge mainstays. Or Stardew Valley, like we've talked about. Yeah. And that's what we want to talk about a little bit, is just kind of like respecting that legacy a little bit more, that top 5, like our individual top 5 favorite games from our time with the Switch. And he also asked on Instagram and Discord for anybody who wanted to share any of their memories and their favorite games from the console's life cycle, because I think it's pretty impressive that the Switch is a newer console, because if you compared it to the Series X or the PS5, I bet most people's top 5 is going to be the same if you were talking about exclusives,
Yeah.
which we're not. Our lists are not exclusively. They're not necessarily just exclusives. But my point being, the Switch just has a lot of really strong games.
Dude, you could make the case. I might make the case that it has the best library of any video game console ever, and I think you could easily make that case.
I don't think I wouldn't deny that. Not like when you look at the pure like depth of the library.
Yeah,
I mean, whether or not you even like some of them the most, you can't deny some of the best versions, if not the best entries in a bunch of different series are on the Switch.
Yeah. Or like genre defining games, like they tend to be on the Switch, or they were on the Switch, you know, like even if they're not Nintendo games, like it has an incredible killer library. And that's why it's going to have staying power, I think, for a long time.
I agree. So let's get into it. Let's talk about some of our favorite games. So like I said, we're each going to do our top 5. We'll do, round the table type, starting with 5 going down, and we'll do some honorable mentions as well. Games that didn't make the top 5 but have a special place in our heart from the Switch life cycle. So let's go ahead and start off with number 5, and I'll go ahead and start. Why not?
Okay.
And 5 for me, and I believe the only reason this game isn't higher is because I haven't played through it more than once, but it had to make the list because of, and I'll get into that in a second, but it's Fire Emblem Three Houses.
Nice.
No spoilers, please.
No, I won't get into spoilers. And one thing too, like generally speaking, if you want somebody to talk about depth more than just like feeling, I'm not the person to listen to. Like I talk about how things made me feel a lot more than I'm able to get into the mechanics and stuff like that.
Sure.
I'm not that deep.
I think that's fair.
But when it comes to Fire Emblem, there's a couple reasons why it had to make this list. One, it's fantastic. Like that's just, I only did one playthrough of the game, and the game easily lends itself to at least 4 playthroughs to get 4 different storylines.
Yeah.
And you have every reason to want to. If I didn't have a backlog of games that I want to play, like I still want to go back to this at some point. Actually, the itch has been there, but I don't have my copy right now. That's okay. I have other stuff to play. But it's such a good game. The cast of characters is surprisingly, like, there's so many characters and there's so many good characters in it. The dialogue in this game is great. It is a tactical RPG, but Fire Emblem they do it the best as far as the series go. In my opinion, the best tactical RPG is still Final Fantasy Tactics, but Fire Emblem as a whole does it so well. And like when I played it, I did the Black Eagles route. So same as you. And there's just a lot of emotion in that route alone. And I know, like, even I can't get into it too much, but even events that unfold as you're playing through that route make you feel something. Like they really do. And I also picked that route specifically because of the person that I wanted to marry being in that, and that was Petra.
Yeah. Good choice. Good choice. I can picture Petra right now.
Yeah.
She's a looker.
Yep, she is. That's my wife, James. But seriously, like, it's such a good game, and not only did I love this game, but this was the first Fire Emblem I played.
Yeah.
And I loved it so much that it got me wanting to play the rest of the series. And I still haven't played all of them, but I own majority of the series now because I want to play them all. And I have played a couple at this point too. I mean, like Awakening, I hadn't played Awakening until after this, and I loved it. It's fantastic. Like the story in this series as a whole is great, but without Three Houses, like I might not have gotten to the series still. It was such a good game. It's one of those that I'll definitely go back to and play at some point. It's a mainstay on the library. Like if it's even remotely the type of game you're interested in, I feel like it has something for everybody as far as the story and the gameplay and then the relationship building and all of that stuff goes. And like being able to like go around and talk to all the different characters at the school, it's just very interactive.
Yep.
And it's just fantastic. And I do truly believe if I had played through this game more than once, it would probably be higher on this list. But I spent a lot of time over the last couple weeks building this list, making sure it was right because I didn't want anything to be on here just because it felt like it. And like things have moved on and off this list, but no matter how many times this didn't make the list because I didn't feel like I had the right to because I only played it once. I at the end I was like, it has to be because it's one of my favorite experiences that I've had on the Switch, even only playing through it one time.
I think that's very justified. You beat the game, so
Yeah.
you don't have to beat all the storylines, but it really lends itself to how cool of a game this was. Now, I famously, maybe not famously, I trash on Fire Emblem all the time. Like, I am so not into Fire Emblem, generally speaking, but, like, this game, it changed not just how I felt about Fire Emblem, but, like, everyone, seemingly, you know? Like, it's just another example of the best version of this series, or the best entry in this franchise being on the Switch. Mm-hmm. Three Houses is it. Like, you can't go back from it. Once it came out, like, it's going to shape how people compare every Fire Emblem game going forward to this game, because it's like the gold standard of Fire Emblem.
Yeah, Awakening brought Fire Emblem to the mainstream. And Three Houses solidified it as one of people's favorite series, I believe.
Yeah, it made tea parties synonymous. It was synonymous with tea parties. You know,
I don't have a tea party now without thinking of Fire Emblem.
yeah, it was really fun. I played through it, liked it, despite my misgivings about Fire Emblem, generally speaking, and the fact that there's way too many characters in Smash On that are from Fire Emblem. But, it's a very memorable game. You get attached to the characters. The relationship building is, it's so interesting to me that I don't know, it's kind of like in this game, it's more, you get more attached to the characters than you do like the actual gameplay, if that makes any sense at all. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, when it comes to games like Fire Emblem, I would be lying if I said I wasn't playing through it more for the characters than I am the gameplay itself. Mm-hmm. The gameplay is fun. Like, it is an addicting loop of leveling up classes and unlocking the next class and all that stuff. I actually really like that loop of gameplay, but the story, the relationship building, all that stuff is what really brings me in and hooks me.
Yeah.
And Three Houses does it phenomenally.
For
so
sure.
You have a lot to look forward to, and I managed to not spoil anything for you.
Thank you. I wanted to say that, according to the internet, because me and Christine, we were like, we don't know if we want or gonna, like, what if we hate this? Like, we agreed to play this game together, but what if we don't like it and we don't want to play more than one round? So we have to, like, do research into, like, what is the best route. And Black Eagles is known as the worst. I need you to know that that's what the internet says. Maybe they say the church route is maybe worse, but the Black Eagles is third, and then Golden Deer, and then Blue Lines.
Per the internet and
like what.
Well, if I've learned anything, it's that the internet's never wrong.
No. I'm just saying. I'm saying that if you guys are saying, "Wow, this is an amazing game," and it was such an experience, and blah blah blah, like, it shows that, like, there's not really actually a bad route.
Yeah.
They were just saying that, like, it's like, if you play it, the Black Eagles, there's, like, other drama that's happening in other houses that you're not seeing. That you're missing out on because you're doing that. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm playing Blue Lions. We'll see what happens.
But yeah,
there's
apparently so much more for you to look forward to, Chris, in your game that's on the top.
Did you guys play it after the DLC? Because wasn't there a DLC? Maybe that's the church route.
I definitely played it before. If there was DLC, I played it before.
Yeah,
because I know they added more characters. And there's another route. Maybe that's the church route. I'm not sure.
Yeah, because I'm not familiar with the church routes. That must be DLC stuff.
I believe that was in the base game.
Was it?
Or it was DLC and I just didn't know it. But I remember that being, like, there's a moment in the story where you can basically branch off between the church route and the Black Eagles route. Mm-hmm. I think you have to already be going down the Black Eagles route for this to happen. Mm-hmm. But yeah, and I didn't go the church route. But I don't know if that was DLC or not, I guess. But I mean, I beat it all the way back. It was pre-pandemic. Mm-hmm. Like, it was 2019 when it came out, and I beat it.
Yeah. It's a great game.
Well, maybe it will one day take over my fifth spot.
What is your fifth spot, Hannah? Good segue.
My fifth spot is Luigi's Mansion 3.
Nice.
I still need to play that game.
You haven't played it?
Mm-mm.
Well, it's very pretty.
Yeah. I constantly see when people talk about that game, one of the things they say is that it is the best looking Switch game.
It's so pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is not something you'd expect of a Luigi's Mansion game, I don't think.
No, but
a horror.
It feels
Ghost
like
house.
Yeah, it feels it's very pretty while also being scary. But I like it because it harkens back for me to Lego Chaos. You know what I'm saying? Where you're like, destroying everything.
Oh,
Like you're
yeah,
going
yeah.
around and just destroying everything you see. Like you're like, I need to knock all these pictures off the walls. I need to blow everything up off of this table. I need to find all of the little hidden hints and little bits and bobs, you know, like, and I love that. And so, and it's the best platform. It's not a platformer at all.
That's my favorite subgenre.
Yeah.
I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it has a multiplayer mode too, right?
It does.
It does, but I didn't play it with anyone.
Oh.
So I don't know.
No Guigi in your life, huh?
Well, you can play as Guigi
Oh.
while you're playing.
Spoiler alert.
I mean, like you have to. It's like where that thing where it's like, oh, Luigi can't move forward anymore, so Guigi has to take over.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, that
So.
feature was really cool. I remember watching you playing it and just being like, man, this game looks so cool.
One thing I will say, and I don't, maybe this is like a, I don't know, maybe I just played it wrong. When you get to the very end, you can't go back. And
Oh, you can't replay anything?
yeah, and so I was like, I would have gotten 100% on it. Like I was like 90, whatever. But you couldn't go back, and so you shouldn't play the last boss until you've done everything else.
That's too bad. That's such a, to me, that's kind of just a very, that's a thing of the past.
Right.
At this point, like, any game should have the ability to go back and clean up anything that you missed on your first playthrough.
Yeah, you couldn't.
A New Game Plus is fine if you want to do it on a second playthrough.
Yeah.
But it's, yeah, that's too bad.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it sounds like it was a great game.
Yeah, it was. I liked it.
What would you class, like, it's a unique game in that I don't think it falls under like one genre. Would you say like puzzle platformer? I don't know what you'd
It's
call
not
it.
really actually platform. I think it's like exploration puzzle.
Yeah, you're
work.
right. It's not really a platformer at all, is it? Like just like watching you
I mean,
play.
you are walking like a platformer from left to right and around, but I don't know
There's
what
no
it's kind of a
jumping or stick
category of its
skills.
own. Yeah.
I think that's why it's like so unique and so cool is that like it's hard to classify it into a genre, but like when you hear Luigi's Mansion, you know exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Kind of, you know?
It's like kids horror.
Yeah. It's like so cool because like you would go onto a level, and I haven't played it since, I don't know, probably like early pandemic, I think is when I played it. And like, but like every level you find the next elevator button to move on to the next level, and it's somewhere on the level before. And so you finally find that elevator button, you beat the last boss, then you plug the elevator button into the elevator, it clicks for you, and Luigi's obviously freaking out like, no, I don't actually want to go in the elevator, no. And then it's like you never know what's going to be on the next level. You have no idea. And it'll be like, I remember one stage was a giant stage, and like there were all these like plays and like Shakespeare-y looking things that are falling and trying to get you, and all of the ghosts are actually like Shakespeare looking things, and you're like, whoa, crazy. And then there was like a whole nother one where it's like Egypt, and you're like trying to dig through the sand, and I literally vacuumed up every granule of sand in the entire place trying to find all the hints.
Yeah.
And there was a bunch. So I don't know, you just never know what to expect in it, and it was like different, so different every single level.
Yeah, that's really cool.
I only ever played the first Luigi's Mansion back on GameCube. But some of the stuff I really liked about that was the ambiance, kind of like what you've talked about. It has like that horror vibe, but it's not like crazy scary. But like the lightning, striking, and then like things lighting up in the rooms. But the sound effects too were great in that game. Do you feel like that like holds up? Like Luigi's little like his
little
sound effects and his Mario and like
Yeah. I think I was scared by that game more than I probably should have been. Like I was kind of scared. Like I didn't want to play it alone a lot. It's not that scary at all, but I'm very cowardly.
too spooky.
But I don't know. I think that Luigi being so scared lends a certain ambiance to the game. Like it makes you feel scared because he's so scared. So I don't know. Yeah.
Yep.
That's good. It's definitely on my to play list at some point. Jasmine really wants to play it too. I need to just get a copy at some point.
Yeah.
But it definitely looks good. And like I said, whenever people talk about like games that look good on the Switch, this game's almost always like number one.
It's very pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a good number 5.
Thanks.
That's you both have really good choices so far.
Well, what's yours? Let's see if yours is as good.
Well, okay, so I told Hannah this on the way here. I was like, for me, this was pretty simple. Like, I feel like on a lot of other consoles, I have to like really, really like sweat to like pick one over another. And like for me, the top 4 were like I had to like pick an order for them, but the top 4 were like when I went through lists just to remind myself of all the games that are on the console. I was like, every time those 4 were on it every time, no matter what. I was like, so in that way it was simple because those games stuck with me so much. The fifth one was hard. It was like a flex spot, like on a fantasy football team. You know, you can put like any position in the flex spot. that was what the fifth spot on my top 5 Switch games felt like. Like I was considering 3 or 4 games for this spot, and it was hard. But I ultimately came to this game, and it won't be a surprise to anyone why it's on my top 5 or anyone. It's probably on a lot of other people's top 5 as well. It is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
I'm surprised that it barely made your top 5.
It's, well, you'll see what my other 5 are, but like, it's an incredible game, needless to say. Another example of the definitive and maybe best game of the franchise being on the Switch. Sakurai absolutely killed it. Who doesn't have memories playing Super Smash Brothers? You know, like that. It's a game that we played for countless hours, whether it was COVID or not. People have so many memories attached to this game that sometimes have nothing to do with even playing the game. Because
Amiibo betting.
Yeah, okay. Well, I don't know if we've talked about Amiibo betting before on the podcast. So, Super Smash Brothers is obviously, it's great in that anybody can pick it up and play it, and they can find a character that they identify with. But so again, one of my favorite, one of the things I judge games on, whether they're good or bad, is it easy to play? Easy to pick up, hard to master. That's kind of how I feel about video games a lot of times, and Smash is definitely that. And people, man, the skill level on Smash, the skill ceiling is incredibly high. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody's at a different tier, you know, and it's hard sometimes to have a get together with Smash Brothers because there's you grab a group of like 15 people and you're going to have varying levels of skill that make it sometimes hard to level the playing field, even if you like throw in items, even if you throw in Sakurai did a pretty good job of like finding ways to handicap certain players to make it a more level experience, and I really love that. But like generally speaking, people are all over the board. Some people are really good, some people are really bad. But you throw a bunch of people into the arena. In this case, it was 8 at a time, which I think was a first for this series. Was it?
I can't remember if we had 8 or not.
Yeah, I don't know if it had 8 or not. But incredibly fun game, and anybody can have fun playing it. Amiibo betting, where it came in was we have an event where we have to we try to earn tickets, and a lot of it is centered around video games, and a lot of us really, really love Super Smash Brothers, but not everyone's good at it or even enjoys it. So what we did is I have a lot of Amiibos, right? You all know this, the listeners. I love Amiibos. And every Amiibo is usable in Smash, especially the ones that have a fighter attached to them. So I level up as many Amiibos as I could that are fighters on Super Smash Brothers, and we have the Amiibos 8 at a time. Everyone selects one. And so basically it's their representative. It's their horse that they're basically betting tickets on, and then they fight each other. You know, usually 3 stocks, so it's not too incredibly long. And we're just standing around the TV watching.
It's like horse betting.
It's
like
exactly like it, but people are screaming, people are losing their minds, having fun, and like this is a very niche and anecdotal experience with Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. But like
we have a lot of fun doing it.
In our group of friends, it's become pretty memorable and like kind of a mainstay.
It's always funny to see people go all in on the wrong Amiibo.
I know. They'll be like, I'm betting all of my tickets on this one, and you're like, no, don't do that one. I was watching them play. No, I saw them train. No, don't do that one.
Guys, weak sauce. You don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Even though they're the same level, you know.
Yeah.
But sometimes
to be fair, I want to clarify because like I feel like what you said wasn't super clear. Like,
okay,
it's not like 8 people are picking an Amiibo and they're fighting for them. There are 8 Amiibos and everyone is picking whichever one. So there's some people that have like 8 people have picked Samus, and then there's like 4 people that have picked Pikachu.
Yeah.
And so like there's like all people are all picking different ones. It's not like you have to pick the same one.
No, it's true. It ends up being one of the highlights of the night when we do it, and yeah, just a fun time, and just one example of how you can play Super Smash Bros. Ultimate in so many ways.
Yeah,
it's very hard to find a thing about this game that I would criticize, other than probably the online play and how laggy it still is to this day. That's the only. Like, is that the only thing I can knock this game on? Probably.
Probably, yeah. It's not on my list, but I mean it's fantastic.
Yeah.
And like the trailer at the end of that direct, when they're showing certain characters are there, and you're like, oh cool, like I hope. For me, it's always I hope Ness is here. Like it's gonna take me off if Ness isn't there.
Yeah.
And they go through a handful, and then all of a sudden it's everybody's here, and then like you realize for the first time, all the past Smash Brothers are in this game.
Yep.
And that was a pretty cool moment because we're all like, oh my god, like that's crazy, because some characters like Roy hadn't been around since GameCube.
Yep.
You know, like some of these characters we hadn't seen in a while, so that was a pretty big trailer. And then when they announced the expansion pack or character pass, whatever it was called, like everybody's speculating on the fighters they want. And poor Jarrett hoping Gino comes and never getting his wish.
He got a trophy, assist trophy, or I can't remember what it was.
A Mii skin.
Oh, a Mii skin. That's right. Mii fighter skin. Well, that's some kind of representation, but
it was cool. I feel like Smash Brothers is such a big game that these characters, when they get added to Smash, it adds some level of attention, more eyes to the series that they're from. So it's cool to see representation from games that you know, like Joker from Persona or Terry from from Final Fight, right? King of Fighters. King of Fighters.
That sounds right.
Like a lot of people didn't know who they were, but now they're familiar with them because of this. You know, Banjo-Kazooie coming back, like that was big, and Sora, like,
oh dude,
it's just like lots of really cool representation.
It's like I said, like it became like a carrot they dangled in every Nintendo Direct after this game launched, right? Like it was the discourse about the Direct wasn't, a lot of times it was just like what fighter is going to be announced, because in this game specifically, was it this or was it in Wii U? There was a voting process that Nintendo held, and everybody like they could, like, you know, type in who do you want to be represented in Smash, you know, and they took that into account. I'm not sure how much, but and this might have been actually before Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
It was Wii U.
Was it Wii U?
Yeah, it sounds familiar.
But I think it's the assumption is that they took the data collected from that and they considered it when they built this Smash Brothers. You know, because they came out so close to each other, like in succession. You know, but yeah, like. I mean, these are the expansion pack fighters that came out. Maybe there's more, but in this order: Piranha Plant. People are like, "What? That's weird." Joker, you know, having a Dragon Quest representative, like, blew people's minds.
Persona.
Oh,
Persona.
I'm sorry, dude. Man, I wish I could rewind that one. Can I Mario Kart World rewind that? Yeah, Joker from Persona.
We won't give you a hard time.
My brain was actually thinking about the next one, Hero, from Dragon Quest.
That was huge.
Yeah, it was, like, especially for Japan. I'm sure they lost their minds loving Dragon Quest the way they do. Banjo and Kazooie, needless to say, was. Man, that was incredible. Terry was not for everyone, but for the people that it was for, I'm sure it just rocked their socks off, you know.
What sucks?
Byleth, who you just chose Fire Emblem Three Houses. That was, you know, I have apprehension when it comes to more Fire Emblem fighters, but sure, Byleth, okay.
But he'll allow it.
I'm sure that would have made a lot of people happy. Min Min. That was an interesting one.
I think it's cool because ARMS was fun.
Yeah.
Like, it was a cool launch window frame game.
It was.
That, you know, was a bit gimmicky, but
it deserves some recognition because it was legitimately a fun game. If you want to consider it a tech demo, it was a really good one, I feel like. Steve from Minecraft, obviously massive.
Yeah.
Like, who expected that? But that was maybe the biggest, honestly, announcement of any of the expansion fighters.
I mean, I wasn't excited, but it's cool.
Yeah. Sephiroth, I'm sure you were very happy about that.
Sephiroth is cool. One of the few amiibos I've pre-ordered since, you know, the early amiibo releases.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's pretty hard to find, too. You can't get that one much anymore. Pyra and Mithra. I haven't played Xenoblade Chronicles 2 yet, but I know that they're iconic and everybody loves them.
The only other amiibo set that I pre-ordered.
And a really cool one, by the way, very detailed. Kazuya, again, not for me, but I'm sure people lost their minds when Kazuya got announced.
People love Tekken.
And for me, the most memorable one, even though I wouldn't call myself a super fan of this franchise, man, I still remember the song dropping and Sora being announced. And, like, I watched that trailer, the announcement of Sora being announced probably, like, a dozen times at least. Like, it was such a chill. Like, it gave you the chills. It was so special when it got announced.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, and I honestly should spend more time playing with Sora because of how much that moved me. But I mean, you could talk endlessly about Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Everybody has their own time they've put into it, and their own main. Mine is Toon Link. That's my boy. But it's a special game. I have put so much time to it, and I'll put even more time into it because it's just one of those games. It is the ultimate celebration of video games. I can't think of a better game to represent video games as a whole, and this is it, you know?
Yeah.
And how do they top it? I don't know. I don't know.
Well, we didn't know how they top Mario Kart, and they figured that out.
Yeah.
So I have faith, but you're right. I have no idea how they do it.
Yeah, because the Everybody's Here concept, like, at some point you can't keep doing that because they got to be paying these properties and there's like
everybody else is here.
yeah, everybody. Yeah, not every. Yeah.
Is it that game where I think I remember it, where the story mode where everyone dies but Kirby?
Yes.
Oh my god, that I remember like I don't even really play Smash, and I remember watching it and being like,
Yeah.
they're all dying.
Everybody's turned to stone, and
Oh,
Kirby's
no.
like the hero.
Oh
They
my
beat Infinity
gosh.
War to the punch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Sakurai, Kirby's his little boy.
His boy.
That's his son. But yeah, it's a special game for not just me, a lot of people, and it wasn't a solid number 5, but it was very close, and ultimately it won out, and I loved it. Everyone here loves this game. Even Hanna on some level loves this game.
Amiibo betting.
I wouldn't say that, but amiibo betting is fun.
Yeah.
It was my idea.
It was a great idea.
On some level, you like this game enough.
Yeah. You have an appreciation for it, at least.
Yeah.
She'll just say yes. Just say yes and we'll move on.
Or maybe you don't. I don't know. But yeah.
All right. So we've done our number 5s, and there's no overlap so far. I
overlap.
don't know. I'm pretty sure that none of us have any of those games on each other's list, right? Do you have Fire Emblem on yours?
No.
Yeah. I don't have Luigi's Mansion. And
Definitely don't have Smash.
yeah.
I don't have Luigi's Mansion in mine, so far no overlaps.
Sadly, Smash didn't even make it in my honorable mentions when I was writing stuff down. And that's not an insult. I love Smash.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I didn't even. I mean, it crossed my mind, but like when I was writing, honorable mentions happened a lot later than my actual list, and I didn't think about it. So
I ultimately-
it would make it on that much bigger version of this. But
I wrote out my top 10. When we go over honorable mentions, I'll tell you what my bottom 5 were.
You have a top 10?
Well, I mean,
Do you have a top 10?
that's how I.
no, I mean, I guess in theory, because I have 5 in my honorable mentions, but
Yeah.
it wasn't.
Dang, guys.
I mean, that's
It wasn't planned that way.
That is how I worked out ultimately what my top 5 were.
I
is
have more
had
than 5
I-
in my honorable mentions, I guess.
That's fine. Yeah, I'm just saying, like, I have a top 10. Not, and I don't have the bottom 5 in order, but like 3 of those bottom 5 could have been number 5. Like, that's how close it was for me picking number 5.
Yeah.
So it was tough.
All right, well, let's move on to 4. My number 4 was Super Mario Wonder.
Nice.
I
knew this was going to be on your list.
Yeah, I adored this game. So they had that in Seattle. They had the Nintendo World Live event back in 2023, and that was the first time that we had the chance to play it. Obviously, we'd seen it revealed in a direct, but I remember playing it at that moment and having the 4-player mode and playing it with it was Jasmine. I don't remember I think it was either Kel or Zach, and then a random. We were playing it together and just being like, I don't know. The game immediately struck a chord with me that that side-scrolling Mario hasn't done for a while. I've enjoyed all of the ones I played all of them. I've enjoyed them all, but the new Super Mario Brothers series never really did it for me. It was fun, but it was, I don't know, it always felt lacking a little bit. But that moment playing that, turning into Elephant Mario and getting the Wonder Seed and watching the level transform, hit this like, I don't even know how to explain it, but it just struck this chord with me where my brain was like, this is awesome. Like, I love this. So I bought it, obviously, day one. And I had Jasmine and Kel over, and we were playing it. We made like 3 or 4 levels, and they were like, okay, we're done. And I was like, well, I'm not going to stop because I'm already into it. I played through the whole game in like 2 days, and I 100%ed it. Like, I love platformers. Like, I've probably made that clear in the last year or so on this podcast. Like, it's really clicked with me how much I really love platformers. It's my go-to genre overall.
That's fair.
Whether it be just straight platformers or Metroidvanias, I can kind of clump them together in that general
In some respects, yeah.
consensus of like platformers. But I love platformers, and Super Mario World will probably never be dethroned as my personal favorite Mario 2D platformer. But Mario Wonder comes close in a lot of ways, and it's just specifically because of this game. I don't know, each level was just so dynamic. And I love that each level, whether if you didn't get the Wonder Seed, like, it was boring almost. Like, there was still really good level design, but that Wonder Seed would just take a level and turn it into this like psychedelic monstrosity of a level with so much going on.
Yeah.
And it was just so fun. I looked forward to every level, and like, just because I wanted to see what would happen next. And there's a decent amount of hidden stuff in like hidden areas in the game, off paths. I did it all. Bosses are just okay. I don't even remember any of them, so like, I don't have a lot to say on the bosses. But the hidden, the secret world, so like the Star Road from Super Mario World, like,
Yeah.
those levels were challenging and fun. And I love one of my favorite things in a game. I hate when something is challenging and like you don't know how to beat it, you can't figure it out, but you know you're supposed to be able to. I love it when I'm playing something and I know that I can beat this. I just have to get better. And like those challenge levels in this were exactly that fuel. Like they kept me going and wanting to beat each level. And I don't know, like I just absolutely love this game.
Yeah.
I've only played through it the one time. And I did wonder a little bit, no pun intended, if I wanted to put it on the list for sure or not, just because I don't know. I just felt like kind of like a cop out, but it was definitely one of my game of the years for 2023. I love this game. I definitely see myself playing it, like it being a go-to game over the years. Like I go to Super Mario World when I want that level of nostalgia, and I can see myself going back to this pretty consistently over time.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I adored this game.
Yeah, it was really good. We did our ranking, right, of the 2D Marios like maybe a couple years ago or last year. I can't remember.
It was just before this game came out.
But oh yeah, that's right. That's why we did it.
Yeah.
Where would you rank it now? Out of curiosity, would it be your top 3, top 5?
It would
2D
definitely be
Marios?
my top 3, 100% my top 3.
Nice, dude.
I like I said, Super Mario World would still be my personal number one.
Top.
But it's between, for second, it's between this and Mario 3.
So it's like in the same breath of those like true all-time great
for me, yeah.
2D Mario. And I don't blame you at all. I really enjoyed this game. Like you said, it's just constantly surprising. You have no idea what's going to happen, especially when you play those Wonder Seeds. If a 2D Mario doesn't have like different routes and options and secrets that kind of like, you know, keep me captivated and surprise me, then it doesn't hold up to the best ones. And this game definitely has that. So I agree. Like it's challenging and like surprising in that regard. It's not like a super hard game, but it's a constantly fun game. It never gets old. It's like just the right amount of length, and there's just the right amount of new stuff to make it like stand on its own and make it like just fresh and wonderful. It's just a really good game. I don't blame you one bit.
Thank you for not blaming me. Hannah, what do you think about Mario Wonder? You don't really like platformers.
Yeah, I can't play those. I'm not good at them. I think even at Nintendo Live, the lady that was helping me, like watching me, she kept having to be like, okay, now do this. Because I was just so bad at it. It's just not the ideal genre for me.
And then people get ahead of you and you become a little balloon that's
I become
following
a
her.
little balloon. Yeah.
And then I get mad.
Yeah.
One feature that I really liked about this game was that when you are hooked up, when you're connected to the internet while you're playing it, that you see other people at the same time playing the same levels as you. And if you make a mistake or die, you don't necessarily have to go back to the start of the level. Like they can pop your little balloon or whatever and bring you back where you came from. And that way it's like a really cool co-op, maybe unintentional co-op mode that you just are playing Mario at the same time.
World feel more alive.
Yeah, and just like it's just a quality of life feature that's very appreciated because you're not just constantly dying and going back to the beginning of the screen. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously, I agree.
And I was able to play as Daisy. That was who I made in this game. What was your character that you played in this?
Luigi. Mm-hmm. It would have been Yoshi, but Yoshi's easy mode for some reason.
Oh yeah, that's right. Why?
I don't know.
You should be able to toggle. You should be able to toggle that on and off if you're your favorite character.
Yeah, I thought that was annoying, but other than that,
yeah,
I like that they added a few more characters with Daisy and Toad has already been there. Did they only? Oh, Nabbit.
Yeah, Nabbit. Yeah, it was kind of Super Mario, but it's like Super Mario Brothers 2 in that regard, like the level character selection, all that.
This is like not really talking about Mario Wonder, but this is talking about Mario characters. We were playing Mario Party with Christine a couple days ago, and she played as Peachette, and I had an aneurysm, and I'm like, what? Who is that? Like who is this character who's on my screen right now? She's like, it's Peachette, and I'm like, I've never heard of this person. And she's like,
that's the Bowser Peach, right?
It's the Toadette Peach.
Oh,
it is.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I literally looked it up, and it is Toadette with a peach skin on top of it, like in the creepiest way possible. Like it is Toadette with peach skin.
That's gross.
Yeah.
What Mario Party is this? The newest one?
Yeah.
I don't know that I've even seen that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like chameleon. Weird.
Yeah.
Chameleon.
Was it Mario Party? We played Mario Kart at the same time.
Was it Mario Party Jamboree? Or was it Mario Kart Deluxe? Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Maybe it was Mario Kart. We played them like right back to back.
Either way, I still don't remember ever seeing this.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I was like, okay, I've heard of Baby.
Are you sure you're not having a seizure?
No, because we looked it up. But yeah, like I was
That's
like, there's Baby Peach, there's normal Peach, there's like rose gold Peach.
Yeah.
And then there's also Peachette. First of all, that's a lot of Peach representation. As a Daisy lover, like
Yes.
it's too much, I would say.
As you saw, I played Daisy in Mario Wonder. And
He's also a Daisy lover.
well, she was the only character that had red hair-ish in the game, so I was like, Daisy. I almost went Toad, though. I like Toad,
You
too.
win again.
I like Toad. Too.
You're a Toad.
They always make Daisy just like the tiniest bit more ugly than
I
Peach.
know, it's
and it
true.
really bothers me.
I've never thought that.
She is. Go back and look. She always wears like less makeup or like kind of uglier like outfits.
I don't think makeup makes somebody more beautiful.
Well, when you're a princess, it does. So
That's probably true.
Yeah.
Well, Hannah, tell us your number 4.
okay, my number 4 is Pikmin 4.
Nice.
Yeah,
How fitting.
perfectly placed.
Yeah. So I think that we played Pikmin 3 Deluxe, me and James, like co-op, when it first got a Switch port. And that was my first entry into the Pikmin franchise. And we really, 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 really liked it.
Yeah.
And so then we were kind of sad when Pikmin 4 came out and the co-op was like little brother.
Yeah, little hand-holdy. Yeah, like we were talking about in the other episode.
Like you can just like throw things and that's it. Like, and you're like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
that's not that helpful.
Yeah, that was honestly a little heartbreaking to me because we loved it.
We were gonna play it together, and we were like really excited to play it together.
Played Pikmin. We loved Pikmin 3 so much, the co-op especially, that like
Right.
we were expecting that, and by all accounts, this is an incredible game, but it didn't have the same kind of co-op feature, which was sad.
But
I remember how excited you were for that and how bummed you were.
It was
Because you're on an
Yeah.
episode like right after it came
Right.
out.
I was like it changed my mood. I was just like, no.
yeah,
I think I had to go for a walk or something.
I need to go walk this one off.
yeah.
But it's a great game.
With that being said, yeah, I played it alone, and it is so pretty. Like I think it's prettier than Luigi's Mansion. But like you have very specific tasks. I love task management games. I like that there's a little bit of panic. Like you're like, I gotta beat this before the timer runs out.
Yeah.
And the monsters are chasing me, and they're not easy. Like there's a lot of levels I had to redo and redo and redo and redo because you're like, I can't get that banana or whatever, right? And I did 100% this game, but getting the last onion, there's like a time trial that you have to do, and I forget for what color it is. It's like maybe it's one of the new colors, like purple or something. And you have to get that last onion, and I literally wanted to jump into traffic. Like I was like, I can't do this. I did it over and over and over again. Finally, I watched a YouTube guide, and I literally matched what I needed to do second by second to what the time trial was to be able to beat the time trial, because there's like 6 or 7 levels that you have to beat.
Yeah.
And that's how I got 100% on that game. But if you aren't you aren't somebody that needs 100% on it, and you just want to play Pikmin 4, the actual base game is super, super cute. So, yeah, hopefully the next one isn't 10 years, because there was a 10-year gap between Pikmin 3 and Pikmin 4.
Yeah, that's wild.
So hopefully the next one comes out.
There's
Sooner.
a pretty big gap between Pikmin 2 and 3 as well.
Yeah.
1 and 2 were close.
Sad to say, I that's one I could see being another 10 years or a long time, just because it's not one of those games that sells,
Not a flagship, yeah.
It doesn't sell a ton of copies. Like on the Switch, I'm sure this sold very well because all the good games on Switch sold well because everyone has a Switch. But I don't know. I hope so too, because Pikmin's a great series.
When you go to the Nintendo stores, like the official Nintendo stores, it's one of like the tenants of Nintendo.
Yeah.
Like it's one of the there's like Metroid stuff and Mario stuff and Animal Crossing stuff and Zelda stuff. Splatoon stuff and Pikmin stuff.
Yeah.
I'm glad that that's got that level of representation there, but it definitely doesn't feel like that level of like Nintendo yet, because it is still somewhat niche. It's way more popular now than it was 10 years ago when 3 came out.
It's a game
but
that sadly has like, or a franchise that has a little bit of like a stereotype attached to it, like it's just for babies. But like once you play it, you're like, this game's incredible.
I'd like to see a baby figure this out.
It's so good.
A baby couldn't get 100% on this game. I'm just gonna say.
Stupid baby.
Okay.
Unless it's possessed by a demon or something.
That'd be crazy.
Dang, this demon baby got 100% Pikmin 4.
Dang. That's crazy. Did you take pictures at the Pikmin section of Nintendo Live?
No, there was a section of that live that I didn't get to do because of lunch.
Oh.
I didn't realize that when we went to lunch, we weren't going to be able to get in without standing in the huge line. So we noped out at that point. Kind of screwed things up. But
that was an awesome event.
I would have liked to have. I didn't get the Yoshi Lego thing either.
Oh, we did that too. And we took pictures with the Animal Crossing huge cutouts, and that was amazing.
Yeah, that was a really memorable event. I hope they would do that again.
Yeah.
That was cool.
And no death threats fly around that cancel it.
There was
Did that happen?
Death
That happened in
threats?
Japan.
Death.
The last Nintendo Live they planned, they had to get canceled because of like there were like death threats or a bomb threat or something
For
crazy.
why?
Because they knew they were going to raise their prices to $80.
I don't know.
Somebody was preemptively mad.
Last year?
More sad. I think it was last year. Don't quote me on it, but I remember something like that happened, and they had to like literally cancel the event, or maybe they rescheduled it, or made it only online. I can't remember.
Well, that's no fun.
That's so lame.
Yeah, it is pretty sad.
Yeah, my history with Pikmin isn't much. I bought Jasmine the Pikmin 1 and 2 collection, I don't know, a year ago, 2 years ago, whenever. And then last year I finally played Pikmin 1 because I never played any of them. I really enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. So like I have every intent to go through and play the rest of the series at some point. Mm-hmm. And I've heard Pikmin 4 is fantastic. So,
Nice.
But I haven't played it.
We went as Pikmin to Comic-Con last year. Me and James and Christine.
Nice.
That was the red Pikmin, a very large one.
Such a big Pikmin.
But it's nice when little kids want to take your picture because they're like, "Oh, you're cool. You're a Pikmin."
Yeah, people only wanted to take our picture with James because me and Christine were like new Pikmin from the fourth one that had just come out. And I was like, I'm a glow Pikmin. And she was like, I'm a fairy Pikmin. And James is like, I'm
fire.
the normal Pikmin. So,
You know, you start with a Pikmin, that's me.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, good game. James?
Is it my turn for number 4?
Yeah.
All right. So, hint: I'm wearing it on my shirt.
Metroid.
Metroid Duredo. Metroid Dread is my number 4 pick. This was going to be in my top 4 regardless. It just ended up at 4. I love the crap out of this game. It's so good. It's so good. There are so many good Metroid games. Like, I think that just quality is synonymous with Metroid games, whether it's 2D or 3D. They're all good in one way or another, even maybe Other M, although that's the one that gets kind of crapped on all the time.
I still plan on going back and trying to play it again.
Yeah, me too, for sure. This game was so interesting. It has an interesting history, and that no one ever thought it was going to happen. It was kind of like mythical.
Yeah, all the way back to the DS.
Yeah, it was rumored for DS, wasn't it? For the longest time.
You can find in Nintendo Powers around the mid 2000s that it was on like the most wanted list. You know, they used to do that.
Yeah.
It was on the most wanted DS list because it was rumored as in development all the way back then.
Yeah, and then it just didn't come out. And I don't know if they gave any fanfare to it or any reason why it didn't come out. It just didn't come out. So people are like, oh, it was a long lost game for the longest time. And so when this came out and everybody's like, oh man, Metroid 4, is this Metroid 4?
This
chronologically,
they consider it.
It was just like, oh my God, it's happening. You know, I remember the announcement and just thinking, oh my God, let's go. I'm so excited. And it lived up. I mean, it was worth the wait. It lived up to all the hype, even though it was developed by Mercury Steam. Man, you got to give those guys a lot of credit because they put together the smoothest, most like polished 2D Metroid we've ever been given. The controls are so tight, so fluid. It feels wonderful to play. Like the platforming is great. The counter moves. I'm trying to think some of the special abilities this game had that no others had. Like, wasn't there like I'm trying to think of what it's called, the Shine Spark or
The Shine Spark. That was on
Super Metroid, wasn't it? The Shine Spark.
I think it was in Metroid Samus Returns, the 3DS remake.
I don't know, but there were some abilities in this game that just were game changers. It's just so memorable. They upped the ante in terms of like difficulty as well. They finally made like a Metroidvania that felt difficult, like noticeably difficult.
Yeah.
And they gave it a hard mode as well, I think, in DLC content, I believe. And a boss rush, which I haven't played, but I really want to. This was the first game where I mean, I've always thought this about Samus. Like, she's like, you know, I'm a stan for Samus, like so many people are. But like in this game especially, like she's a badass. She just is. Like there's moments after you finish boss battles where she does things that are just like, you are so cool. You are like the coolest video game character, and it was especially evident in this game. They geniusly worked in cutscenes into this 2D Metroid game, which doesn't typically have things like that, but it really added to the isolated, concerned, scary like feel that you get in every Metroid game. And it is appropriately called Dread because there are these scenes, these sections in the game where these little robots, not little, they're very massive and scary, and
the Emmys
are, and they chase you. You know, you enter them, and all of a sudden they're alerted to your presence, and you have to find a way quickly to get out of there, but to transition, you know, to progress to the next part of the map, you know, like you do in a Metroid game or a Metroidvania game. It added just such an interesting back and forth where it's like traversing the map, looking for items, fighting bosses, but also having these zones that are guarded by these Emmys that just like they fill you with terror. They're scary, and if they catch you, they even give you a window to escape, but it's really hard sometimes. Yeah. Just a very masterclass in terms of Metroidvania. Like there are some very good Metroidvanias that stand out on the Switch, you know, like Hollow Knight, Ori, like all any like classic Metroidvania game you can think of is on this console. I think this is the best one. At least that's my personal opinion, though they're all very good, but
I agree. Yeah, this was my number 3.
Was it really? Oh,
yeah.
Okay. I hope I didn't like go too.
No, I was obviously I let you talk.
Okay.
I'm always glad you do better at getting like in depth than I do.
No,
so
you say what you got to say, man, because this game's so good.
But yeah, no, I definitely agree. This is not my favorite Metroid.
Yeah, I don't think it is mine either.
It is Super Metroid's still my favorite, and I have a lot of love for Metroid Fusion. But I would say it's right taking the Prime games out because I still struggle with ranking those in like the overall Metroid world.
Yeah.
But this would be my third favorite of the 2D Metroids.
Yeah.
But it did so much good for the series as a whole. And like you mentioned, like Mercury Dream, right?
Mercury Steam.
Mercury Steam. They did the 2DS remake of Samus Returns,
which was good,
and it was good. On a replay, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's not the best game. But what I love about Dread compared to Samus Returns is you can tell that team took all that they learned from making Samus Returns and brought all the good and then fixed all of the little things that needed to be fixed along the way. The game plays better. The countering is easier to use and more effective. Mm-hmm. This game, the platforming is so good. And like you mentioned, one of my favorite things is the Emmy encounters.
Oh, dude, it's crazy.
I am a sucker for horror.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not into like spiritistic horror or slasher horror. So it can be hard to find something that is in that horror realm.
Yeah.
Suspenseful horror.
Suspenseful horror. That is what I like. It is a weird feeling where I hate the feeling inside, but it's also a rush. Like, and I like the way that the Emmys are presented in this game. Like you can see them sometimes and they haven't seen you yet. And that jolt of fear where you're like, crap, like how do I move without it seeing me? Yeah. And it was truly terrifying. Like you said, like once they see you, like your window to get out of there is small.
Like,
and when they catch you, like
it's terrifying, dude.
They're like 2 shots away from it being mature rated when they catch you.
Dude, it's all, you could almost feel them like gripping you and holding you. Like it's that, like, I don't know, like this game, like it triggers that fight or flight sense for sure in a good way.
But this is Metroid at its best.
Yeah.
And it really is. The exploration is fantastic. The ambiance is fantastic. That's one thing that I think makes Metroid continue to always be my favorite of the Metroidvania games.
Yeah.
Is because of the ambiance and the music. Mm-hmm. And that's what this game continues to do so well, is it just that sci-fi world that they built is just, it's so good. Like the detail is so good, and the music is just, it's fantastic. Like, and like you said, adding in like that little bit of extra like side story, they've only done a couple times. Fusion did it well, but Other M did it terribly. And then they did justice to Samus as a character and the story as a whole. Like, it was a great game.
It moved the character forward, honestly. Like, the ending is so memorable. Like, it's such the climax of this game is so good. Like, it's such a strong like final boss and everything. It's just like, it's so good, man. It's you don't always associate Metroid with having like a story that's like one you can remember, but this one is very memorable. And man, they could not have named this game better. Metroid Dread it perfectly encapsulates what this game is. Not to mention, this game is like one of the other reasons I love Metroid games. Speedrunner's dream. It's a speedrunner's paradise of a game. And if you ever watch highlights of people speedrunning this game, it's mind-blowing sometimes, dude.
No, it is. It's absolutely fantastic. And it has the unique distinction of being the game that encouraged me to start the podcast.
Really?
Yeah. It was the day Metroid Dread came out. Obviously, I thought about starting doing something, podcast, website for a while. But the day it came out, I took a photo of my Metroid collection and was like, I was getting ready to post it, but I didn't want to post it to my personal Instagram. And then as I was playing the game, I just kept thinking about how I wanted to talk about it. And like, obviously, like I can talk to you and Alex and other friends that play it, but like, I don't know. Like, I just felt like I wanted it to be more of a discussion. Yeah. And it's what pushed me over into deciding to start the podcast.
Dude, that is pretty special, honestly. Doesn't that make you happy feelings?
James is like giddy right now. James is like,
you're welcome.
I love that. Dude,
James's heart is overflowing.
I love that so much, man. Like, okay, we do have a lot of overlap when it comes to video games, but I feel like the one thing we like are in perfect harmony with each other with when it comes to video games is Metroid. Like, I feel like it's the one franchise I'm not sure that we love it. I'm not sure we love it equally necessarily, but like we love this one franchise together so much. Like, it is such a part of our video game history and life and like passion, you know? Like it is like, yeah, when people ask me what's my favorite video game franchise, like a lot of times it's easy to say, oh, Pokemon, but like I don't know, it might be Metroid. You know, like
I mean, it's up there for me. It's always so hard for me to like say what my favorite franchise is. Yeah. Because there are other franchises where maybe I like the majority of the games in it a little bit more, but Super Metroid is still my all-time favorite game. Yeah. And I've played a lot of games that I love. Yeah. That like I struggle with figuring out where to rank them, but even Earthbound that I love dearly, like I haven't sat down and made a definitive list, but I've had Super Metroid at 1 and Earthbound at 2 for years. Years and years and years. And I don't even know that Earthbound would stay at number 2 when I really sit down and write a list. But I don't think anything can shift Super Metroid for me.
Yeah, and that's an inevitable pod, I feel like, an episode of like what our top 10 games are of all time. Maybe it'll be top 5 like this, because depending on the people. But whatever that list is, I would have at minimum 2, maybe 3 Metroid games on it, because they're just that good. They're that memorable. And this is no exception. Metroid Dread was it was one of the auto adds to my top 5 on the Switch. Like, it is an excellent game. Yep. So good.
I agree. 100%. And if you want proof, the first post that I did on my X Button Instagram was my Metroid collection.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think it was the day it came out. Yeah. I think that day I was like, I'm doing it, and I started the Instagram.
I just remember the shirt I'm wearing when it came out on the Nintendo store. I was like, Chris, have you got the shirt yet? You're like, no. I was like, I'm buying 2 of them. Yeah. And we had to have this shirt, and man, I hope. One of my biggest fears is that Metroid Prime 4 is going to be this, like it's been discussed on Discord, but if that's the special edition Switch 2 and I've already bought one, that's going to be a tough pill to swallow, but I'm going to swallow it.
Yeah. my one of my biggest like collector regrets is not getting the Samus new 3DS XL when it came out, and it's just so expensive now I can't even stomach it. Yeah. But I do think that if they did it, I would probably be stupid. If I can afford it in the time, I would probably be stupid and then get it and then give Jasmine the Switch too. Because I think she'll want one a lot sooner than she wanted a Switch. Yeah. She plays her Switch all the time now. But anyway, Metroid Dread, fantastic game.
I hope we get a sequel. Hope we get a Metroid 5.
I do too. I don't want 2D Metroid to ever stop. I want both series to continue.
For sure.
But that's my number 3. So, Hannah, what's your number 3?
My number 3 is something we already talked about earlier, which is Stardew Valley.
Stardew
It's
Valley.
such a good game.
Yeah.
So I struggled with not putting it on this list.
Me too. Me too.
And the only reason I decided against it is because at this point I don't know what system I can I hold it to the most. I've probably played it more on PlayStation now, but I have Stardew Valley on PC, on Switch, on PlayStation, and like I'd buy it on Xbox if I had an Xbox.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. I think that like just something that we didn't talk about earlier is it's such a testament to this game that like it came out in 2016 and almost 10 years later it's still getting regular updates from the dev. Like huge shout out to Concern Dave. Like
Absolutely.
he's doing the most.
He's a local. Did you know that?
No.
He's from Auburn. Like,
Dude, let's
Dang.
go.
like literally local.
Let's go us.
Yeah, Eric Barone. Yeah, that's us. Like,
Stardew Valley is a PNW exclusive.
Honestly, that explains
Yeah.
that explains some of the vibes. But I mean, it came out almost 10 years ago now, and people are still actively playing runs of it. People are still starting it for the very first time. Like it's like it is the definitive farming sim. Like it just is. Like it's so good.
Yeah, and I have a lot of love for like the early Harvest Moons and stuff, and I have no problem saying this is the best farming sim.
Yeah.
Like I truly think that's the case.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm not really a farm sim girl. Like I had played Harvest Moon before. I've played Story of Seasons before I played this game, and it honestly made me not want to play this game. Like I was like, farming sims, like I just like get really tapped out like towards the end of it. Like I'm just like, ugh, you have to do so much farming, and I don't care, you know.
I don't want to farm.
But this game really took care of that. Like there's a lot of like, you know, like if you can have sprinklers or you can have the auto grabber for the barns and stuff like that. Like they take care of a lot of those issues, the little like issues of how you get money. It becomes like less of a problem later game. So
And they do a good job with the diversity of the animals, and like we talked about, the cast of characters, and
yeah.
the simple like as you play and you unlock more. A lot of that came with updates, but there's so much in this game. It's ridiculous.
I know.
Like, yeah, it's fantastic. And Joja Cola is evil.
Yeah.
Joja Mart.
I
But
like.
those Joja Colas are very useful.
I don't know that I'll ever.
Sam loves them.
I don't know that I'll ever like do a Joja Mart like run. 'Cause you can,
I kind of want to,
but like I
but it
kind
feels
of
wrong.
But I kind of
Yeah.
want to see what it's like.
Yeah.
So I play it most commonly on PlayStation now, and I don't have the platinum trophy. But if I wanted to go for it, one of the trophies is to do the Joja run, like you know, to make them take over. And like I struggle with that. I'm like, I don't like him. Like
Yeah.
I don't want that slimy little dude to win.
I know.
I feel like Stardew Valley. I think I said this, Hannah, when we restarted playing it a couple months ago. I was like, you get into this game. At first, it feels a little overwhelming, even if you played it before. You're like, oh man, I have a lot to get started here, a lot to get established. I gotta figure out my farm. I gotta prioritize what matters most to get like some momentum going, so I can make enough money, etc., etc. I have to establish relationships at the same time, and you get into a flow, and you start just really feeling good about this game, and it's good even in small bite sizes. Like you can just, what I was doing is I'd play a day or two every night, and like it's such a good like game to play a little bit at a time.
Yeah, the hard thing is stopping.
Oh, it's so hard to stop. You're right, it's so hard to stop. But it's nice that there is a very clear stopping point every night if you need to stop and go to sleep or go to work or whatever you have
It
to
makes
do.
it a little bit easier.
Yeah,
Right.
but I remember getting a couple weeks in. We're playing next to each other. I'm like, I think I said this out loud, and I was like, "Is this the best game of all time?" Like, is it? Like, if somebody said it, I would not like fight them at all on
Yeah.
it. Like, it's
No,
that
I
good.
agree.
It's so good. This was one of the games that almost got my 5 spot. It was one of the like 3 or 4 games that like I almost put on my top 5. Like, it's like I just think it's one of. I don't know. I'd call it one of the pillars of video games now in modern video gaming. Like if people were asking me like what my recommendation are to try different games, this would be one of them. I would absolutely recommend.
Way back when I did that, somebody who's new to gaming episode with Ethan, that's one of the things I said. Like, I feel like anybody who's new to gaming and wants to try their hands at things should try Stardew Valley.
Yeah.
Like, it might not click with everybody, but I think it's a great entry level like video game to really
think that
pull you
there's-
into a world.
Yeah, there's no reason to like write it off. Like even if you're like, well, I'm not into cozy gaming, I'm not into farming sims. That doesn't matter. Like this game is so much more than any of those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like and like there's parts of this game that like I hate fishing mechanics.
I love the fishing in this
Yeah,
game
exactly.
so much.
Yeah. And like some people love that, or like Some people, they love the dungeon part. I'm terrible at the dungeon
I love
part.
that part
That's
so
the
much.
part that I need to like move on to the next things. And I'm just like, I don't want to do this. I want to do other things.
Yeah.
That's where it's nice to play multiplayer. So you can have that other person do that stuff if you don't want to.
Maybe. We got to try multiplayer. Run.
Dang.
You need a Guiji otherwise to get the other stuff done.
Yeah. Why can't I just marry one of my many boyfriends and be like,
Go to the dungeon.
yeah, go to the dungeon for me, babe.
Yeah, it's such a good game. It's a great choice.
It is.
Yep. That's my 3.
Wait, so you said Dread was your 3. Did you already say your 4?
Yeah, it was Mario Wonder.
Oh, okay.
So you were the end of 4. So you doing Dread as your 4 rolled right into my 3. So then we moved into Hanna. Now it's back to you.
Okay, all right. Disclaimer: I have to pee really bad, so at the end of my 3, I'm going to step away for a bit. Is that
And
okay?
He's never coming back.
I'm never coming back.
He's never going to tell us what his number 1 was. It's going to be a surprise.
All right, so number 3. I'm going to do what I've done before with this game. I'm
What?
going to tell you a tale as
Oh
old as
my
time.
God.
Paint, if you will, a picture.
Oh, I already know.
In the land of Ionios, 2 nations are locked in a never-ending battle for supremacy.
Supremacy.
Kevis and Agnes. In this beautiful but tragic world, citizens are bound to their country, forced to fight in a war they have no control over. What's worse, they try to cling to life and find meaning in a world where the longest you can live is 10 years. Time is precious. In these dire and tragic circumstances, Noah and Lance, Uni and Mio, as well as Tyon and Senna find themselves locked in battle against one another. Somehow, these people, designed to fight against each other, find a common cause and a greater purpose. They go against the grain of the world they were born into.
God.
But to what end? Only you can find out if you play Xenoblade Chronicles 3. What? Oh man, I should make trailers, baby.
Oh yeah, boring trailer. No, that was good.
No, it wasn't good, but I always have fun with it. This game is, I love this, dude. It's such a freaking good game. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is so good. I've said it once, I'll say it a million times. It's just a banger, dude. It's considered by many one of the best RPGs of all time, at least story-wise and combat-wise, and I would agree wholeheartedly. This game, dude, we talked about what Xenoblade Chronicles games are like when I talked about Definitive Edition, but like this game, it breaks your heart, it rebuilds it, and then it rips it back out, like in the best way possible. I remember sitting on the couch a couple times, and Hannah's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like watching when I was playing this game, like it gets to you. The combat is as good as any not just any RPG I've played, but any of the 2 Xenoblade Chronicles games I've played. It's deep, it's varied, it's engaging, it's rewarding. I've talked about Xenoblade Chronicles a little to some degree before, and what's a staple in this series is the music. The music moves you, man, from the title screen. It just hooks you from the get-go. You know it's going to be something special, and it is. I'll say it. I've said it before. This should have won Soundtrack of the Year at the Game Awards. One of the first reasons I started to have real problems with Jeff Keighley and his refusal to acknowledge Xenoblade.
Is he the definitive decision on what games win?
No, he's not. I just blame him because I have no one else to blame.
Okay.
he's the figurehead. So
to his credit, he did nominate it. It did get nominated for Soundtrack of the Year that year.
Did he also make the nominations?
No.
Then
this game was
what?
this game was also nominated for Game of the Year that year too. By the way, It was never going to win because RPGs generally don't win.
It's rare.
Yeah, it's very rare for them to win that award. But this game is so good. I would highly recommend it. I it's hard for me because I haven't played all the Xenoblade games. I'm going to sooner or later, and it's standalone enough to where you could just play this one first. It's definitely, obviously, the prettiest and the most. I don't know. Monolith Soft do they just make really, really, really good games?
Noah's pretty cute.
Noah's pretty cute, right?
Mio's pretty cute.
Mio. Oh, man, dude.
I named my fish Mio, but not because of that Mio. But then
because of the water drops that you can get from Safeway.
Yeah, exactly.
Mio flavor drops.
That's why. But then I made an actual Japanese friend named Mio, and now I'm kind of like,
oh, you're named after my fish.
That's my fish's name.
Mio is my favorite character in this game. I think all the characters in this game are very well designed, but Mio has like the most moving like progression of any of the characters in it. Like like Noah's a little bit boring at first and like a little kind of cliche, but then he really grows and becomes something cool. Mio, like, dude, she just breathtaking performance / like just story of what happens with Mio. You know, Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and 2 now both have a representative in Smash, which we talked about as my number 5 entry. I really, really hope, and I don't think it's going to happen ultimately just because of how much time has gone by since this game was released, but I hope Noah and Mio get representation, or this game gets representation in Smash. It might, because Xenoblade's a big deal now, much bigger than it used to be, but yeah, I can't recommend this game enough. I don't know what more I can say right now other than these games, they get a bad rap for being too complicated, lots of systems, and it's true. They are a little complicated. There is a lot of tutorials, but you just take your time. It's worth the considerable amount of time that this game will suck out of your life, but man, you won't regret it. So good. I love this game so much, and I'm so glad and grateful that this game opened me up to other Xenoblade games, and it's just, I love it so much. And hey, you know how I talked about how they're kind of MMO-esque? I kind of hope that one day Xenoblade does like a Xenoblade Chronicles like online or Xenoblade Chronicles universe, you know, like
play it all together.
It would honestly make a lot of sense for this game to have an MMO RPG.
Definitely already feels like it's on the road to that.
I could I mean, if Nintendo can get their, find their footing with online stuff, that would be so cool.
Yeah. I definitely want to play this game. We went through the headache of getting the collector's edition, and I've had that since day one. I kind of feel like at this point, like I might want to play Xenoblade 1 and X before I go to 3, because I know the DLC kind of connects connects like all the games together somewhat. But it looks like such a good game, and you've definitely sung it a lot of praises.
It's one of my favorite games, I would say, period. But like, the other thing too, what's insane is this game got critical. It was, very, very good reviews, but like the DLC got even better reviews. And that's one of the reasons I've gone back, because I know that the DLC it ties into a lot of the other games apparently. And so I'm like, I want to go back and play the other games so I can appreciate it fully. But like, apparently it wraps it all in a really, really nice bow that I'm really excited to figure out. But
all right. So my number 2. So here's one thing. My number 2 and number 1, obviously I'm not going to spoil my number 1 yet, but they both were very early games on the Switch. And the one thing that sucks is I truly believe these are number 1 and number 2 for me. But because I haven't played them in a long time now, some of my memory will be a little foggy on it. So I'm going to do my best to like feed into how much I love it off of those memories. But I wish I would have had more time to replay them both just to like solidify my explanations as I go into it. But my number 2 is Super Mario Odyssey.
Great game.
Yeah, I love platformers. I love 3D platformers. Mario 64 is a game that will forever hold like a very specific and special place in my heart, in my brain. Like it was, I've mentioned it before, but I'll always, that moment of playing Mario 64 for the first time was, and I hate this term, so I mean it if I'm using it. That was a game changer.
Game changer.
It literally was. Going from Super Nintendo, which looks great in its own right, obviously, it looks still today is aged better, but going from Super Nintendo and seeing Super Mario World or whatever else, Mario RPG, Chrono Trigger, these games are all beautiful, but then going to this 3D world where you can now move in full, 360, is that right? Like you can move all over the place in a 3D environment.
Yep.
It was a moment that I mourn that for people in the last 20 years that didn't get to experience that jump, because no generational jump has been that big and will ever be that big again. I assume. I don't know what they would do. But from 64 onward, things look prettier, but nothing will ever be like going from 2D to full 3D like that was. And it was a very important memory for me, and not just because of that, but like Mario 64 will always hold that memory. And on top of that, I love that game. The music, the levels, all the different stars that you have to collect. It's great.
Yep.
And I liked Sunshine. I liked Mario Galaxy. I never played Mario Galaxy 2. I love Mario 3D World.
Oh yeah.
But man, Mario Odyssey blew me away. And so not to get too deep here, but 2016 to 2018 is a weird time in my life where my brain I was struggling with really bad depression. And in that time period, like I don't remember a lot. Like, people will bring up things that we did, and I'm like, I don't remember that. And it took me a while to realize, like, there's just like a big blank spot in those years. But some video games, so like the Switch launch was in that time period, and I very clearly remember some of that. And Mario Odyssey was a game I played in that time period, and I still very clearly remember some of that because this game, it was so good. The Cappy mechanic, so Cappy is your, I guess, the equivalent of like what's it called? The backpack in Mario Sunshine. Mud? Scud? What is it?
It was the nozzle something.
Sure, we'll go with the nozzle something.
Is it like Gooigi?
Yeah, it's basically Gooigi.
Yeah, like the gimmick basically.
Yeah, it's the gimmick of the game. So Cappy is your gimmick of the game.
Flood 3000 or
Flood,
something.
that's it.
I
knew it had UDD in it.
Where did I get nozzle from?
You were almost there.
Okay.
But Cappy is your Flood in this game, but the mechanic of using him both to throw him to do like extra jumping mechanics and like reach different heights, reach different levels it adds a fluidity to the platforming of the game that is unmatched. I don't think there's a better like mechanical like 3D platformer than Mario Odyssey. And then using him to take over different enemies, anywhere from Goombas to a T-Rex to like a bunch of things in between, made for some very memorable experiences, some extremely cool levels. Once again, they killed it with the soundtrack. I mean, New Donk City is probably one of my favorite levels from a video game in the last 20 years. It's so stupid that a real world type level in a Mario game is so well done with real people walking around and stuff.
Is that where Pauline is from?
And that's where Pauline is at. She's the mayor of New Donk City, and that's the Jump Superstar song is from that.
One of the best video game songs ever.
It's such a good song.
So good.
All of the different the different stars that you collect in this game, so many of them have neat and unique, I don't know why I said neat, unique challenges to unlock. Other than the jump rope, I love just about every one of them in this game. Then the segments where you go like 2D into the wall and it becomes like 2D Mario for small segments of the game, that was great. The Mushroom Kingdom world at the end where you can wander around and it's like you're kind of almost transported back to Mario 64. The fact that there is a Mario 64 skin in the game is really cool, so you can look like 64-bit Mario.
Yeah.
And then the whole final world too, Bowser's on the moon where you're going to Bowser. And I remember texting a friend, and I think it was Nick, and I'm being like, dude, this game is so good. You have to play this game.
Yeah.
I love this game. Like I said, I haven't played it in a while now. It's been almost 8 years, but I've never stopped thinking of, okay, that sounds ridiculous, but I constantly
never stopped thinking about this game ever. Every day. Every
3D platformer I've played since, which I have played quite a few, none of them even come close.
Yeah.
And even going back, and since then I have went and replayed Mario 64, which I love. And didn't finish, but I played some of Mario Sunshine. Like it doesn't compete. It's not even close. This game is just that good. Yeah. And that is one of the things that I think truly blows me away about the Switch is some of these games like Metroid Dread. It might not be my favorite 2D Metroid, but it is definitely somebody's favorite 2D Metroid. It's quite a few people's 2D Metroid, and it has every right to be. Yeah. Same thing with Mario Odyssey, Animal Crossing. There's all these different games that are an entry in their long-running series that somehow Nintendo managed to nail and make one of the best games in the series on this console. Yeah. If it wasn't for Pokemon, they probably would have had a perfect run.
And I love Pokemon. I totally agree.
I love this game. It's 3D platforming perfection. I don't know if you're even remotely interested in platformers. I don't know how you haven't played this game yet, but if you somehow haven't played it, do yourself a favor and play it. I believe it's easily one of the best games on the Switch. Obviously, it's my top 2 favorite games on the Switch.
If somebody told me this game makes a case for maybe the best game on the console. Like, you could make the case, and I'd be like, yeah, you're right. You know, it's extremely good. The most memorable thing, the memory that I go back to every time was the first time you throw Cappy onto the T-Rex and you just start just
it's just wild,
just stomping over stuff. I remember laughing out loud, being like, "What the heck is going on right now?" But like, it makes no sense, but also it makes all the sense in the world. Like, it's so ridiculous but wonderful at the same time. It was an incredibly fun game to play. I did not get all the moons, I should say, in the
It's
end.
moons, yeah, that's
yeah,
right.
I didn't get all the moons in the end, but
I did.
I did beat the game,
baby.
and I loved every second of it, and it was a wonderful experience. And it's like you said, like I feel like it is kind of the gold standard of 3D platformers. You know, like as much as I loved Astrobot from last year, like
Oh yeah, I love Astrobot, but it's not my favorite.
which one
This
game of
is
the
better.
year? Like
Yeah.
if they both came out in the same year, this would win. It should win. And if it didn't, I'd be surprised.
I
you know?
agree, and I adore Astrobot.
Yeah,
This,
and
that's how much I
loved
love
it.
this
Astrobot
game.
was great. This game is just like next level, dude.
100 P.
Yeah.
I tried to play this game. I didn't make it past the first world. It was too hard for me.
Platformers,
But at least you
platformers.
tried.
I did try.
Yeah.
James was like, "This is a game I think you'd really like." I'm like, "It seems really cool. It's got all the elements of like looking around and finding things and solving puzzles, but the jumping thing is just too hard for me."
Yeah.
So
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
yeah.
And also, like,
It's unfortunate because I think you would like it. but-
No, yeah, I think it's the exact same thing as like Luigi's Mansion, but like a different skin and jumping. You know? So
yeah, I think with a little practice, you could get it down. It's just
Nah.
you didn't grow up playing platformers, and we did, and I think that makes a big difference sometimes when it comes to gaming.
because I'm left-handed. We've
Maybe-
already talked
oh,
about
you're
this. We've
right.
talked about
Oh, that-
this. It's a left-handed
That
thing.
deserves a whole episode on its own. Right-handedness versus
I
left-handedness.
don't think there's enough left-handed representation in the chat that can back me up.
I don't know any left-handers that really play a lot of video games. Okay, let me rephrase that. I don't know anybody that I know that's left-handed that plays a lot of video games. They could be, and I just don't know.
Please reach out. We can form a support group.
Yeah, on the Discord.
Thank
You can make that one of the channels.
Thank you.
What was that? What
It's
was I gonna-
Darren. I
Oh,
think he
yeah.
platforms, so he's actually not going to help me with
Yeah,
with
Does
this.
he play many platformers? He's more of an RPG
he is.
guy.
He is more of an RPG.
You know, Darren.
He hates Smash Brothers.
he does hate Smash Brothers.
You know, Darren. You better
I think-
back me up here.
Maybe we're onto something here. Maybe Darren's been like, in the closet, so to speak, on this. He's just like didn't want to say
Darren,
it.
do you have something to say?
We love you, Darren. But yeah, the other thing I really enjoyed about this game was the premise of breaking up a wedding that Bowser's trying to force on Peach. Just so funny, just so funny. And did that kind of make its way into the movie, kind of, sorta? If I remember right.
Yeah.
Yeah, just really funny. This game, the ending is hilarious and wonderful. It's
It
great.
is.
It's such a good game.
I love it. Yeah, that's my number 2. It went back and forth for number 2 and number 1 for me, but I settled on 2.
Very nice.
So Hannah,
My number 2 is my indie pick. I was a teenage exocolonist.
Nice.
I'm gonna say you might be the only person.
I know.
It's their top
I
5,
know.
but I love it.
I know.
This stole Hannah's heart.
This game, I could go back and play it again and again forever. It has such a like dear place in my heart. I found it like so randomly. It was like I was listening to a podcast and they were talking about games that fell through the cozy cracks. Like they weren't like marketed to cozy people, but they're like for cozy people. And they were like, it's kind of creepy, but like if you like creepy, you probably like cozy. And I was like, okay.
I like this.
Yeah, and I don't know, man. From the first like second I was playing, I was just like, I'm interested. It starts off like you're like burning alive, and you're like, what is happening?
All right.
What is happening?
I like how this is going.
And you're like, I'm gonna die, and then a monster like lunges at your face, and like that's the opening moments of the game, and you're just like, where am I? What's going on? And then you're like 10 years old, and that's how the game starts.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
And so I don't know. There's like 29 endings. I think there's like unlimited amounts of like ways you can interact with the characters. Every time I've played, I've discovered new things. There's very little overlap in what I'm redoing. I don't know. It's so great.
A game that you like that much that also has that much replayability is like a gem. Like it's uncommon. Like
Yeah.
you tend to either like a game a lot, but you can't play it all. You can't replay it regularly. Or a game has a lot of replayability, but you're happy with the one time you played it.
Right, exactly. You play to the end of this game, like the first time you play, it's about 6 hours, and immediately, like within 2 minutes of ending the game, I started a new run. Like I was like, okay, I need to do it again. Like
Yeah.
I can do it better this time. Because at the end of the game, they literally go like, how was your life? Was it good? Was it everything you hoped for? And your
Not
option
good
and your
enough.
options are like, it was the best I could have done, or it was, I think I could do better, or it was awful. And like I was like, no, I can do better. And they're like, okay, try again. And like they just send you back, and you're like, what? And
pretty cool.
I don't know, it's so cool. I think that if you are ever like flying across the country or you're going somewhere and you've got like 6 hours, like this game is, I didn't look up the price of it, but it's not expensive. And you should give it a try. And I really hope that someone does, because so far I haven't met anyone else who's played it yet. And I really want someone to just give it a try, because I love it so much. And the storylines in it are like so impactful, and you just like feel for everybody in the game, except for this one guy. He's the only one I didn't date. I don't remember his name, but he's the military guy, and he definitely beats his girlfriend.
Wow.
And I never dated him because I'm like, I don't care what your backstory is. I don't really care why.
And he had a girlfriend already.
Yeah, but like, I don't care. I literally one time started dating the girlfriend just to take him away, take her away from him. I'm like, he beats you and I know it, so I'm going to start dating you too.
Just come live with me. It'll be fine.
You'll be fine. You'll be safe with me. So yeah, I don't know. It's so good.
Yeah.
So that's my number 2.
I like it. And then once again, that just shows the depth of the Switch's library. That a game that potentially very few people have even heard of can make somebody's top 5 because of just how accessible it is on the Switch.
Yeah.
And I do hope that people play it now that they've heard about it.
Yeah.
Hannah's trying to get them some sales.
It's one that I mean to play because of how much you love it, and I know I will sooner or later.
Yeah. I think the only reason it didn't honestly make my number 1 is because it's a game that will never get more games.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
One and done.
Yeah, it's like there's no way for this game to make any more. And pretty much every other game on my list essentially is like, even Stardew Valley, there's like Haunted Chocolatier coming out eventually.
Yeah.
So like, I know that like,
Which I can't wait for.
yeah, like I feel like eventually like all of the rest of the games on this list will have more, but this one is just kind of like, I can't put
Its
it in the top
universe is
spot
closed.
because I can't move forward with
This
it.
may be a dumb question. Maybe I already know this, but is there a physical version of this game? And did
no,
you get it?
there's not.
Oh.
There's not, and I really hope they make one.
It doesn't mean that like limited run could do something like that. There's a number of options. It could happen still.
Yeah.
When a game catches you off guard like this and you love it that much, it's really cool, and especially to have like your own copy of it, like you'd want something like this. So the games you really love, to have it yourself.
And you always own it because that is physical gaming.
Yeah.
Episode over.
They didn't even do their top Switch games.
It's kind of hard though, because I think that like, I mean, if I got it again, if I got it physical, I would have to play it from the beginning.
And that's
From
okay.
the first run.
Yeah.
No, and you have
relive it, baby.
no, and you have to like redo. You
It's
like,
called nostalgia.
No.
Live it again.
like
Hannah.
I have all these
Why are
stats
you?
now.
We should have ended the episode. Never mind.
So yep, that's my 2.
All right, James.
Goodness. Well, speaking of games that unexpectedly show up and sweep you off your feet, I don't think I ever thought this game, especially when I first saw what it was like, would mean what it means to me now. Number 2 on my list, and this was a lock. Every time I saw it on the list of Switch games that were released, I was like, that's in my top 5 for sure. Like, absolutely.
It's 1-2 Switch.
It is not 1-2 Switch, not even remotely. It is Celeste.
Oh yes.
This game it's great. It is an incredible platformer that follows the story of, is it Madeline or Madeline? I don't know how you say it exactly. Madeline? I don't know. It's a cute little redheaded girl who just wants to get away from life in the city, so she goes to Celeste Mountain. It's an indie title, needless to say. This was not made by Nintendo. This is kind of my indie representative of my top 5. But it's like it's beautiful in so many ways. It has a very simple control scheme. Like, it's literally 3 buttons and either a control stick or a D-pad, right? Like, it's control-wise super simple. You jump, dash, and you climb, and you do this to get to the top of the mountain. But to say that that's a difficult feat is like putting it very lightly. It's a very challenging platform, along the lines of something like Super Meat Boy, which I've never played. You played Super Meat Boy,
Yeah,
right?
I love Super Meat Boy.
Yeah. So this game spans 8 chapters to the top of the mountain, as you also try to like collect strawberries, which is like the collectible in the one.
On a summer evening.
Yeah. Yeah. And you also try to collect these elusive hidden B-side cassette tapes that give you like access to even harder like remixed versions of the 8 chapters, like with remixed music, remixed everything, just a lot harder and more challenging. But this game is wonderful for a different reason too. It has the heart and soul of like a smartly written like novel, for lack of better words, like subtly but like effectively. The game tackles subjects like anxiety and depression. We've talked about this before, with like beautiful dialogue and characters that kind of like help this character Madeline find herself as she climbs the mountain. So to me, like the story kind of hits home that like the biggest enemy anybody has to overcome is themselves. And like on, you know, from like a real life perspective, like that can feel impossible sometimes, right? Like, and that mirrors like this game perfectly too, right? Like playing this game and tackling this incredibly hard platforming can feel impossible at times. So like they kind of demonstrate the point of the story and her journey in life with the way that you play the game, which is like masterful to me, you know? But again, like with just like climbing a mountain, like with persistence, hard work, like honesty, by never giving up, you can do it. You know, you can beat this game. It sounds cheesy, but and the same thing, you can overcome like yourself, right? Like the things that are hardest in life. Like this game is just beautiful, the way it tells a story, and it also just challenges you as a gamer. So yeah, the gameplay and the story like mirror, they complement each other like just perfectly. Like it's a perfect harmony of game and story. And I should add that the story is entirely optional. Like I said, it gets subtle. It's not like heavy-handed or like being forced down your throat, but you can skip all this stuff if you really want to and just play the game, which on its own stands on its own in a large way. Like it is an excellent platformer. But once if this is not enough, it's all wrapped together with like one of the best soundtracks in any game I've ever heard.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
It's so good. I don't know how I don't already have it on vinyl, but I will eventually get it on vinyl. Like, but the emotions of the story and of the platforming, even like they weave it into different levels, and they kind of like change the pace of the music to match like what's going on in the game and in the story at the same time. If that makes any sense at all.
It does.
But like, again, even without the music, even without the story, like the gameplay, like it's goated to me. It is so good. Incredibly tight controls, responsive platformer that, again, so rewarding. You get through this game and you feel like you've accomplished something special, like something like incredible. You know, you didn't think you could do at the beginning of the game, you know? Mm-hmm. And once you beat it, it's like, oh, you liked that? Well, we got some even harder challenges for you. Yeah, like if you ask me, this game is not just the best like platformer on the Switch. I think it's one of the best platformers of all time. It's certainly like, again, if I were to have a top 10 of favorite games of all time, this would be in the running to be on that list for sure. Like, I don't know that I could have ever expected a game, especially this early in the Switch life cycle, to like impact me as much as it did. But man, it is such a good game, and it's like I love the character Madeline, and I love how she's in a lot of other like indie games too, because she's just such a good character. Just such a memorable game, dude. Perfect game to play and have on the Switch. I have it digitally and physically, and yeah, I wouldn't blame anyone if they had multiple copies as well. One of the best games on the Switch, hands down. Easy selection for me.
Yeah, I didn't play it on the Switch, but I absolutely adore this game. I've been replaying it again recently on my PlayStation, and it's just, it's platforming perfection. Everything. It's like I said earlier, it's one of my favorite things. Everything is feels accomplishable. You just have to get a little bit better to do it. And yes, you might die 400 times before the level's over. Yeah, but you nailed it when you said that feeling of accomplishment is there. And then, just to touch on the story a little bit too, and obviously the soundtrack is phenomenal. Yes. But the story is very good. It does a good job of not, like you said, it's not crazy in your face, but it is there. And it really touches on those aspects of anxiety and depression in a very impactful way. Yeah. And I think that's honestly quite beautiful. Like I'm glad that they did it the way they did it. Yeah. It's a fantastic game. One of the best indie games ever made. It's too bad that that team dispersed, because I don't know what that means for anything else from them.
If there's going to be a follow-up in any way, I would be so on board, obviously. But yeah, like I agree with you. Like I feel like it was the story to me was open-ended enough to where it could be like it could be translated differently depending on the person you are, right? Like, because me, I don't think I've never experienced depression. You know, we all have like down days or down times, but I definitely can relate to having high anxiety, you know, in like certain situations. And this game like tackles that subject perfectly. and how, like the ultimate enemy is yourself at times, and you have to just. What I like about it too is it's like it kind of teaches a lesson to not give up, right? Like, because sometimes you just want to be like, I can't do it, I can't get through it, and it's like you just keep going at it, and you get through it. Like, just in real life, but it also in this game too. It's the same thing, and it's rewarding to get through things, Yeah, like tackle subjects you do not expect video games to do it, especially like on an indie level, like. Very.
I would say indie level is more.
Maybe more so, yeah.
Where I would think that stuff would be.
Yeah, I don't think that I'd ever played a game that touched on stuff like that until Celeste, and then still, like when I've played games that touch on those subjects, it's always indie games that I can think of at least.
Yeah. Oh my God, this game is freaking awesome. So good.
Yeah. No, it's fantastic. Yeah, very worthy to be in your top 5.
Yeah.
All right, so before we get into our number ones. Let's do some honorable mentions. Ooh. So I'll go through mine real quick. We can talk about them as we see fit, but mostly I'm just going to kind of not blow through them, but just talk about them briefly. I kind of felt like I couldn't it felt like a sin to not have it on this list at all, but it was not in my top 5, but honorable mention has to go to Animal Crossing.
Absolutely.
It's not my favorite Animal Crossing, but it's almost there. And even that being said, it's still the Animal Crossing I put the most time into. And the COVID days, like playing Animal Crossing with so many people that I knew and didn't know was extremely memorable. Triangle Strategy is a game that could have made my top 5 if I had played through it more than once.
You loved that game.
I really enjoyed that game a lot, and I had rented that through GameFly. I actually really want to buy a copy of it because I want to play it again. It was, for a standalone tactical RPG, they did a great job, and I love how impactful a lot of the decisions you made in the game were. As a whole, the Nintendo Switch Online, the different consoles and stuff, like, it's kind of cheating, but I just have to give a shout. Like, I wouldn't have put it in my top 5.
Yeah.
But like, I just have to give a shout out to how awesome the NSO is. I think we were all very skeptical of it when it was announced, and when it started, it was just okay. But I think it was daily beating. I recently heard say on either his podcast or on his YouTube, I can't remember, but he talked about how people still reminisce for the Wii Shop and the Virtual Console specifically, and that he was like, definitively this is better than the Virtual Console.
It absolutely
is.
I
absolutely agree. But people, the online talk is still people wanting the Virtual Console. They still want to buy each game individually and not have to. They don't want this. Like, it's weird, and of course that's not the majority. That is just some people. But NSO is 100% better. I love the multiplayer. The fact that you can play through games multiplayer. Like, we played Four Swords because of this. It's the easiest way to ever play Four Swords.
Yep.
And that was a ton of fun. I loved that game. I was able to play Toe Jim and Earl, the Genesis original, online with friends, and played games that I never played before, like Mario's Picross. It's the first time I played Kururin was on here, and that's a great game. And that's just a couple games, but there's an endless amount of great games on NSO, and the multiplayer just is fantastic. I'm glad that it's continuing, and I'm glad that we're getting GameCube games on the Switch too.
It's arguably the best deal in gaming is NSO, right? Like, you can make a case for a Game Pass too, though less so because it's gotten more expensive.
It's cheap. It's cheap for what you get.
Like, especially if you're on a family plan, like, it costs around I'm in one of 8 people, and it's about $11 per person, maybe a little cheaper than that. Like, you can't beat that.
It's not bad at all.
And that's why the
negligible.
price will probably go up a little bit, but it's a crazy good deal.
Shout out to Pokemon on the Switch. I really enjoyed Sword and Shield. I really enjoyed Let's Go.
Yeah,
Scarlet and Violet exists. Arceus is great. But
okay, I was gonna ask you. I'm glad you brought this up, Chris, because like, Pokemon didn't make my top 5. It wouldn't have made my top 10 either. Any of the games, like, though I really did enjoy.
I'm proud of you.
And I love Pokemon
because that can't be an easy thing for you to decide.
It's hard. It's hard. It was hard, but like, let me be fair. I sincerely enjoyed every single one of these games, even the ones that I thought were kind of lazy in term. I'm speaking mainly of BDSP, but like, so I wanted to ask you, what do you think was the best one of the bunch of the Pokemon games on Switch? What do you think was the best looking, and what was your favorite? They could be all the same.
Arceus, Let's Go. I think Let's Go looks the best, and it is my favorite. I think Arceus is the best.
We're almost identical on that. Like I think the best one is Arceus for sure. Best looking, you're right, it's Let's Go. Like clearly the best looking Pokemon game on the Switch. My favorite is Scarlet and Violet, just because I think they got the gameplay loop. I think they did a good job. I would have preferred level scaling for sure. It's just the performance in that game was absolute booty. So that's why the game gets trashed on. But the game itself, really fun.
I don't love open world, but it's okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, the performance. But my big thing was level scaling. I really hated going to certain gyms and feeling like, why am I even here? You should just surrender. Like why am I fighting this?
That would have really I feel like been.
Yeah. If they do open world again, I hope level scaling is added.
Yeah, for sure. But I think they were all at least good.
I think the best looking Pokemon on Switch was Pokemon Snap.
Hey,
okay, that's fair. It actually probably is.
Honestly,
that game is gorgeous.
And it's honestly really good too. Mm-hmm. Hey, you played that to some degree.
I did play it.
Would that be in your honorable mentions?
No, because I didn't.
It doesn't deserve it. It was good.
I didn't finish it. I think that it is a game that I enjoyed, but I got too completionist with it. I think that if you are a little bit less completionist, you would do better at the game. Mm-hmm. Because I was like, well, I have to replay this level 800 times until I unlock this random Pokemon encounter that you can only do by taking a Pokemon picture of this one at the exact right moment, and then taking a picture of the sky, and then taking a picture. And like, I couldn't do any of it without cheating. Like, I had to look up a guide for every single Pokemon, and I got really frustrated and only got to like World 3. So
that sucks.
That's fair.
It's too bad.
Generally speaking, I hear
honorable mentions.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, I hear a lot of good things about that game, which I probably only played like an hour of it before I got distracted by something else. Plus, you were playing it. That was the other reason I had a hard time getting into it. But
I wonder how many people actually bought that game. Like, you don't hear many people talk about it, really.
Yeah, I've said it before. I think that's one of those physical Pokemon games that I think probably has a little bit of a lesser print run, and I don't know, it could be more valuable in the future. I don't know, maybe.
Yeah. My last two in the honorable mentions, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, was really good. Normally I think Kirby games are like fine, but not anything to write home about usually. Forgotten Land was actually a really good 3D platformer. Like they did a really good job, and the Waddle Dee town was a really neat little feature too.
Yeah.
And then lastly, I have to give a shout out to Resident Evil 5 on the Switch, because it's my favorite co-op game, and the Switch made it easy to play online during the pandemic. And me and Eric played through it over multiple play sessions, and it works surprisingly well on the Switch, which not much does. But it's something about that game really, out of all of the games in the series, it really suits itself to being played on the go. Yeah. That game, I mean, it's not people's favorite, but I love that game. But yes, that's my honorable mentions.
What are yours, Hanna?
My honorable mentions, I have two. I'll start with this one. This was like the second, I think this was the first Switch game I bought myself. Was Yoku's Island Adventure.
Oh,
do you remember?
Yeah, I do remember. That was the pinball one, right?
Yeah.
The little like bug.
It's like a pinball puzzle game where you're a bug that's delivering mail and trying to solve problems on the island. And it was good. I had a lot of fun, and it was like very completionist heavy, like trying to get all the little, I forget even what you were trying to collect at this point, like mail or whatever, but you're trying to collect every single letter and every single little point thing. And I don't know, it was fun. But I think that was like kind of the turning point for me of like when I started researching games myself that I wanted to play, because I remember finding that game myself and being like, I want this one. And I don't know. So it has a fond place in my heart, but it wouldn't have made like my top 5. But like, I'm still like, oh, a nice memory.
Yeah.
Very nice.
It's a good honorable mention.
Yeah. And then Ring Fit Adventure.
Nice.
Yep. I played that game a lot. I've never actually finished it because it's hard, guys. Like,
it's hard.
But I think if you definitely put a lot of time into it, you could definitely consistently build muscle if you really tried. And I love that game because I definitely dropped 20 pounds in 2020 with it. So
thank you,
that's
Ring Fit.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's a testament to how it actually works.
Yeah.
I would bet we get a sequel. You think?
I think so, for sure. Yeah. I think on Switch 2, Nintendo is kind of like weirdly fitness game focused.
They are. They love that stuff.
They always do, and I love that for them, and I love that for me.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It's nice to add. And the Ring Fit was actually kind of fun. If I wasn't fat and lazy, I probably would have played it more because it's actually a fun way to work out.
I remember sweating when the few times I played, thinking like, dang, this is a good workout. So,
One of the best, I forget what it was called, but there was a thing before you got into story mode. You could play like a before game, which was kind of like Guitar Hero-esque, but like you were like
Where you
using the
did it
Ring
to
Fit,
the-
to the beat, and you could do it to the songs from other game franchises, like Mario, like the Pauline song.
Jump Superstar.
Yeah. And like I remember like before I'd work out every time, I'm like, okay, I have to play at least 2 songs from this. So
Adds a fun little bit of diversity to the mix.
Mm-hmm. So those are my honorable mentions.
very nice. So the bottom 5 of my top 10. No, I'm not trashing on them. These games are very, very good. They just didn't quite make the cut, though they're very close.
Stop trashing on them.
Sorry. All right, Animal Crossing: New Horizons goes without saying. Great game. Metroid Prime Remastered. It could have been interchangeable with Dread for me, honestly, but in the end, I left it out only because this wasn't a Switch game first. I think that's probably the reason it didn't make the cut.
That's
for
the only
me.
reason it didn't make didn't seriously make my cut.
But like they took
It's a better version for sure.
They took one of the best games of all time, in my opinion. Certainly one of my favorite games of all time, and they made it even better.
Mm-hmm.
They made it easier to play, better to play, more enjoyable, more modern. And in that way, even though it's a remaster, to me it felt kind of like a remake. Well, maybe that's just because I played it before and I loved it so much. But and if you go on to Metacritic and look at the best rated games on Switch, like it's still like the 3rd best rated game on Switch. Like it's like 94 overall on Metacritic.
It's so good.
I love that the game got the credit it deserved because Prime came out in a time when there weren't like aggregate sites that were like giving critical reviews of there were like IGN and stuff, but like just to see Prime get that kind of recognition again made me super happy. And it's such a good game. Stardew Valley could have been 5 for me, just like Animal Crossing. We've discussed that in much detail today. Astral Chain, man, it's a good game. That's my COVID game when I actually tested positive for COVID.
You could play games when you had COVID. I was like just down and out. I couldn't even move my eyes.
I remember being at work when I first got symptoms. I came out of the Bronx suite, as it were, and I sat down in front of a computer and I was charting, and I was like, I feel really, really sick right now. And then
it's the cat.
Oh, you reacted to my story. Anyways, I went home. I passed out for probably 24 hours. When I woke up, I started playing this game, Astral Chain, and it does not get anywhere near the amount of credit it should get. It is a very unique and wonderful action game, set in a like post-apocalyptic robot world, kind of, sort of. Really cool game. Highly recommended. And then Super Mario Odyssey. That would have rounded out my top 10 somewhere.
At least it was on there.
Yeah, it was. I couldn't leave this game off the list because it's just so good. Yeah, those are my honorable mentions.
I thought of another
good list.
honorable mention. Actually, it's not. I forgot it was on here.
Oh,
I just wanted to mention how good the Switch console was for party games.
oh yeah.
Mario Party Jamboree is the best Mario Party.
Maybe goated.
It is.
Yeah,
It is
it
so.
is.
It
It's
is
great.
so good. There's so many new features and stuff. But like also like Dokapon Kingdom.
Yep.
Which speaking of, I wanted to see when Dokapon Kingdom like got re-released onto Switch, and I just found out that they just released a remake version of Dokapon, the first one, in Japan, and it actually came out on Steam in January. So there's a new, once like localization happens, it should be coming out
that's
on
cool.
Switch, Dokapon 1.
Like the actual original version.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's called Dokapon Sword of Fury.
I think it's an RPG. If I'm not mistaken, the Kingdom game was a spin-off of that series, because there was one Dokapon game we got in America outside of Kingdom that was on Game Boy Advance.
Oh, interesting. That's pretty cool. Well, I hope it comes to the Switch or something eventually.
Yeah, it's on Steam right now. But also Billion Road.
Billion Road.
Billion Road is so good. Have you played that with us?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
It's a fun game.
Yeah, it's like you travel around Japan. It's like Mario Party but mixed with
Like kaiju fighting.
yeah, like you're fighting monsters and you're gathering pets to fight monsters while trying to buy the properties in Japan.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Yeah.
And Jackbox, honestly, so many
Switch
good
and
times.
Jackbox is
so
a
much,
perfect
so
marriage.
many good times. Like
Yeah.
the amount of times that we were just like crying.
Yeah.
Like so funny.
No, I'm glad you brought all those up because it's very important to mention the multiplayer aspects.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and things like Jackbox, I think made like, I don't know, they were just definitive like experiences during COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. The ultimate party console. And that's before mentioning Mario Kart and Smash Brothers, which always round out the Nintendo, library.
Mm-hmm.
I really hope we get Fortune Street. I'm really sad that never came across in some way, shape, or form. Like even if it's not Mario or Dragon Quest themed, like I just want Fortune Street on the Switch, and the fact that it's not is sad. Makes me sad.
Are there more of them in Japan?
Mm-hmm.
There are.
I don't know if they've kept coming out, but before they had one in like every console.
A lot of them were on PlayStation too.
Just get better at Japanese. Like just get good, and then you can play that.
There you go.
Gambarimasu. Okay.
Gambate.
Yeah. So yeah, is that all our?
That's all the honorable mentions.
Yep.
All right, let's go into our number ones. And I hate to say this, but we do need to speed it up a little bit because my memory card's almost full.
Okay.
Okay.
And we have the comments to go to still. But my number one, I'll go ahead and start it off here. This has been my number one game on the Switch since I finished it in 2017. Mm-hmm. And it's Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Let's go! The Xenoblade Chronicles episode.
Yeah. It's funny because like James only played 3, I've only played 2. And I will say, as far as story goes, this is not the best story-based RPG I've played. Mm-hmm. What this game really does right is a couple of things. One, like James mentioned already, I think it's pretty synonymous with the series, is the battle system. Mm-hmm. It is... I remember playing this game and being probably 10 to 15 hours in and being like, what am I? I still didn't know what I was doing totally. Like, I was winning battles, but like the harder things would get, the more I was like, I should be able to beat this guy, but I'm like, I know I'm doing stuff wrong. Mm-hmm. And I remember I was like, I have to figure this out or else I'm going to quit. And I don't want to quit because I'm enjoying the game so far.
Yeah.
I remember looking up somebody had posted on Reddit a photo that they broke down the screen of like, this is how you should be doing this, and it was kind of like a little bit of a walkthrough, and I was like, okay. So I put that there. I put my phone next to my Switch. I think I was playing it in handheld mode, and I'm like, I follow it through, and just like that, like 15 hours in, all of a sudden it clicked, and the fluidity of this battle system became so. It's perfect. Like it's for an active battle system. Mm-hmm. For in an RPG, it is absolute perfection. It is so addicting. It is so rewarding.
Yep.
But I understand that it is extremely frustrating, and a lot of people might not want to put the time in to figure it out. But if you do, it's worth it because I don't know to this day that I've found a more fulfilling battle system than the battle system in Xenoblade Chronicles.
Yep, absolutely.
And then on top of that, my other thing, and I'm a sucker for stuff like this, was the blade system. And I don't believe they've had this in any of the other Xenoblades. But that is the blade. So Pyra and Mithra are a blade, and they basically are companions that almost work kind of like Pokemon in a sense. Mm-hmm. Like you don't have them all out at the same time. You level them up separately, but you have a system where you can basically acquire more blades as you play through the game, and it's random. Yeah, and there's over 100 of them or something like that. Mm-hmm. And I got very addicted to trying to unlock them all for multiple reasons. One is like it's fun to see the different form, like the different looks of all of these blades. There's some really cool ones, and they add different variety to the team when you're in battles. But two is out of the Xeno universe, I don't know how connected all the games are really, but I never played Xenogears. And until Xenoblade 2, I hadn't played any of the Xenoblade. I didn't play Xenoblade 1 or Chronicles X. Mm-hmm. But I did play Xenosaga on the PS2. And I love Xenosaga. Mm-hmm. And Cosmos was a very cool android character in that game. Yeah. And I found out Cosmos was one of the blades in this game that you could unlock. And that was like... Yep. I was like, well, I have to do it. So I played this game for close to 200 hours.
Which is not unusual for a Xenoblade game.
Yeah, and I loved every minute of it. Cosmos was the last blade that I unlocked, which that's random. It didn't have to be the last, but that was kind of frustrating. Mm-hmm. But the crazy thing is that normally might have been irritating in some games, but I enjoyed my playthrough and like the exploration of this world and continuing to do stuff as I'm continuing to try to unlock the rest of the blades that I need. Yep. So much that it never became a grind or frustrating. Yep. And that will always stick with me. Like I said, I've played a lot of RPGs, and as
You,
far as
you've played a lot more than I have.
I have played a lot of RPGs over the years, and as far as story goes, I don't even know where I'd rate this game story wise. It's okay. It is good. I like the characters, but it's not like a mind blowing story. But it is the gameplay and the world and the exploration, which is why I know I'd like the rest of the series.
Yeah.
But I don't know why I haven't gone to it yet. But yeah, I remember when I was at the end of this game and I knew it. Like I do this whenever I'm finishing a big game. Like I need my space, kind of like I don't care if Jasmine's around, but I'm like I need the next hour or so to be uninterrupted because I really want to like enjoy the end of this game. And this was one of those times where I was like, I remember sitting there on the TV in our old apartment and just like it wrapping up and just being like, dang man, like what an experience.
Yeah, dude.
And I absolutely loved it.
Dude, man, we are on the same wavelength in this episode. It's crazy.
Yeah, it doesn't happen often. Don't get used to it, guys.
Dude, that's yeah. It's what's crazy is these games like they stand on their own. You can play just 2 like you have. You can play just 3 like I have. And I'm playing 1 right now and I'm well into it, but I'm like you don't have to have played 3 to play this one or have 1 to have played 3, you know, but they share DNA. They certainly in the combat system and in the big world openness of it. And it's like you said, like once it clicks, it is like a dopamine hit. You just have to keep taking.
There's just a crazy fluidity to it that you just feel accomplished as you keep doing it.
I don't know how else to explain it except like it feels like a dance you just get comfortable with and you're like, oh, this feels good. Like I really like doing this. And then and it's the same thing. Once I got to the end and I just sat there on the couch and I was tearing up. I was like, oh my God, this is Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I was like, wow, that game was. I did not expect that, but it was so good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like there's a lot of parallels just playing how people experience these games. But I didn't mention this when I talked about Xenoblade Chronicles 3, but I even played it I enjoyed it. Once I clicked and I understood the game, I wanted more of a challenge, so I set it on hard mode, and I never do that for video games.
Yeah.
I never play the hard mode, and I played Xenoblade Chronicles 3 on the hard mode, which added, needless to say, tons of hours to my gameplay in that game.
But that's how worth it was.
It's just so fun, and dude, I'm so happy to hear that, man. I can't wait to play this game too.
Yeah, I think now I know you'll enjoy it. It might not be your favorite.
I always hear that 2 is the most complicated of them, or maybe the one that's explained
and
the
it
least
seems
well.
to be people's least favorite of the series. But I don't know. I loved it.
I hear people say that it's their favorite sometimes, though. So
Yeah, there's dozens of us.
but yeah, I mean, everyone says it's a good game, though. No one says it's a bad game. Everyone says it's a really good game.
Because it is.
French.
RIP GameCube.
Yeah, they're not as
Snark
snarky
in
as
that
that.
game is
But there
something
is
else.
there is still like some like things where we're like, oh, okay, like you know, and
more passive aggressive
right,
tones.
right, and you're like, okay,
More
okay.
common to today's world.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, I love that. Also, Home Paradise DLC for this game, like I said in the Animal Crossing episode, it brought me to tears.
Yeah,
like,
it was good. I didn't finish it, but I played quite a bit because of Jasmine. It is really good.
yeah, seeing KK on that stage,
Oh,
so nice.
I really got to play that.
So nice. But yeah, like we talked about in the Animal Crossing episode, I hope for the next one. Obviously, there will be one coming to Switch 2.
Yeah.
It's insane that there wouldn't
This
be.
is a lock.
But
Yeah.
I hope that like they can capture the true charm from the first ones in the franchise. And that they can make it more of a community sim again instead of the aesthetic sim that it kind of was in this game, where it kind of felt like lonely a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I hope they can bring back the true charm of like those animals and like connecting with them as a villager. So
I agree.
yeah.
That was my biggest complaint with this game, is that
Yeah.
that community feeling was a little bit less in this.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, it's basically a perfect game.
Yeah.
It's Animal Crossing. This one specifically sets a reflection of who you are as a person. Like whatever you want to do, you can make it in this. Like I literally brought the Sonics back in my town. I built a basketball arena, and with Alex's help, I couldn't have done it without him. I created like a very, very accurate representation of the Sonics arena from the early 2000s. I created a track that was based off Mario Kart, and then I brought all my friends over, and we raced during COVID. Like this game's so good.
Good times, man.
So many good memories.
The turnip market, or the stock market, like everybody checking prices, and the gates being overflowing with people coming in and leaving.
Tarantulas.
Tarantulas.
Tarantula Island.
No, Tarantula Island.
That was the first, I think, big thing when the game came out. Everybody trying to find Tarantula Island for their money.
That was so scary. Like you're walking around at night, like even now, like, and you see one out of the corner of your eye, and you're like, oh god, oh god, oh
Leave me
god.
alone. Yeah, it's a little horror aspect
Yeah.
there.
It was a good game. Such a
Alright.
good game.
James, we got to move on.
All right,
Because
man.
I'm down to 13 minutes left on this.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So
Oh God. Tears of the Kingdom. What can I say that I haven't already said? No game is perfect, but to me, this comes close. You cannot talk about Tears of the Kingdom without bringing up Breath of the Wild, which is a great game in its own right. If Tears wasn't a thing, Breath of the Wild probably would have been my number one entry. But once this game came out, it had to be the number one entry.
Yeah.
I played this in subsequent, like I finished Breath of the Wild, or played it again, and then I played this right after. So maybe me more than a lot of people, I can compare the two to each other pretty well, because I played them right back to back,
Yeah.
and I never got tired of this game. There is a little bit of fatigue you can develop if you just, because it's an open world game and there's just so much you can do. But to me, the two games feel like one organism, and kind of in the same way like Ocarina and Majora's Mask are, you know? So like to say this is my favorite game is kind of like saying Breath of the Wild is my favorite game too.
Yeah.
But I can only pick one. And so I picked Tears of the Kingdom. Here's why. And I don't mean to bash Breath of the Wild. I don't want to make it feel like that. I want people to understand I love and respect that game greatly because it's so good. But and you know, a lot of people consider Breath of the Wild to be the best game of all time before this game came out, and they probably still do. And if they do, I respect that. But in my opinion, Tears of the Kingdom was an extension, a growth, and a big improvement over the original game. It's massive. Like Breath of the Wild revolutionized open world games, but like Tears took that game and it made it feel small, if that's even possible. It took what was like an open world game and made it into like an open air game. Like we talked about this on the episode, like the scale, the verticality, the depths, the game is massive and so explorable, and just, my goodness, it's like the sandbox of sandboxes. This game is like diving in this game is to me one of the most incredible feeling game mechanics I've ever had in a video game. It helps you to travel anywhere fast, but also it's like a means to scout, to attack enemies and bosses, even to grab shooting stars, which was, man, an incredible feeling when you did that. It was a game changer, Chris. But yeah, Sky Islands, Hyrule, plus the depths. It was like the most tasty sandwich I've ever tasted in a video game, if that makes any sense. And the tools that they allow you, they gave you in this game compared to Breath of the Wild, Ultra Hand, Fuse, Ascend, Recall, Auto Build, like just one of these were incredible on their own, but like together, you could literally do anything you wanted to do in this game. You could build whatever you wanted to in this game. You could fight or solve any puzzle in any way you wanted to in this game. Like, just a masterclass of game design. And the fact that it all ran so well with at a very great frame rate, unbelievable. Yeah. And then you take into account the dungeons, right? Like, these weren't exactly like a return to Ocarina form in tiers, but they were much closer to it, especially compared to Breath of the Wild. Like, just the Wind Temple alone, even the approach to the Wind Temple was like more epic and fun than any of the Divine Beasts were in Breath of the Wild, if you ask me. And those were fun. Then you take into account the bosses, at the Wind Temple that you fight mid-air, the music, the setting, like just an incredible experience. And that was only one dungeon in this game. Again, this game carries some of the DNA of like every Zelda game, but like especially I felt a lot of Wind Waker in it, in the fact that you find dungeon maps. Instead of sailing from island to island, you're diving or flying to your destination. And so I had a lot of reminiscing when I was playing this game. Side quests are amazing. This game makes you feel like Indiana Jones at times, the way you follow through on side quests. But and finally, just the story, man. Like, from the chilling opening sequences to the way you acquire the Master Sword to the grand finale, the highs in this game are just so much higher than Breath of the Wild, in my opinion. And
Yeah.
I think it'd be hard to go back after you've played this game, but maybe not. Anyways, I enjoyed every second. It's my game on the Nintendo Switch, my favorite game on the Nintendo Switch. Maybe my favorite game ever, I don't know, but it'd be up there for sure.
I don't think you're alone.
And
I think it's a lot of people's favorite game, and I think there's a good reason for that.
Yeah, and I wish I could have, fleshed it out a little bit better, but I mean, I've talked about it a lot, so.
Yeah. It's everybody knows how I feel about the games at this point. I don't think they're bad games. They're just not necessarily for me.
That's
Maybe
fair.
one day it'll change my mind, but this game was a game of the year. Both games were game of the year across multiple different avenues when they released, and they had every right to be. Man, we have like 8 minutes. I think we can do this if we go quick.
Okay.
Me and Hannah were just texting about possibly cutting off and me just reading them off and adding it, but I'd rather do it with you guys here if I can. So
Okay.
thank you guys. Normally I would re-go over our top 5, but well, you guys can listen again. Listen to this 3.5 hour episode again.
Yeah.
Okay. So on Instagram, I asked the question of, with the Switch 2 coming out, like, let's talk about your favorite Switch games. Let us know some of your favorite Switch games. Could be 1, could be 5, doesn't matter. So first response was Caleb Rush. He said the Nintendo exclusives. He said Metroid Dread, Prime Remaster, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Mario Odyssey, Skyward Sword Remaster, Nintendo Switch Online, all great. Justin Choi said Mario Kart Deluxe. I can't believe we might get something actually better than that. He said Pokemon Scarlet and Violet got me loving the franchise again.
Nice.
Which is true. I have noticed that he's back into like loving competitive more than he was before.
It's a good game. It's a good game. I don't care what anyone says.
Nathan Elliott said Mario Party and Mario Kart.
Nice.
That was not that. All right. Ali Wainwright said everyone's obviously going to say Breath of the Wild. That's not true, which is always valid. But another absolute favorite of mine is Fire Emblem's Three Houses. In my honest opinion, with Three Houses, they really perfected the Fire Emblem formula that they had been building with since the DS games. In the years leading up to the Switch's release, I will go back to Three Houses even now. It just has so much depth and nuance with the unit building and alternate endings and character support that I always find new stuff to try. While the graphics could obviously use a glow up in several areas, they really nailed just about everything else with it for me. 100% agree. And Tristan Conant said, the obvious answer for me is Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Mario Odyssey was another great addition as well, but my kids played that one a lot more than I did. So all great answers, all great games. Not surprised to see more Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom love.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Instagram where I asked the same question, plus that if they wanted to share any memories, they could. And James and Hannah are going to read those back and forth.
Discord or Instagram?
Did I say
Discord.
Instagram?
Okay.
I meant
You
Discord.
want to go first?
Sure. Do I start with Jarrett?
Yep.
Okay. I kept trying to keep it short, but it kept becoming a novel. To try and keep it shortish, Breath of the Wild, Mario Odyssey, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe were big standouts to me. Breath of the Wild was a fresh new take on Zelda formula. Mario Odyssey was similar, but more of an expansion on the Mario formula. And Mario Kart 8 Deluxe perfected the Mario Kart formula for now. Smash Ultimate really was the ultimate ride leading up to the game and the DLC, a game that is a video game museum in itself. I can go on and on in more detail with all of those and other games. Mario RPG, done.
Nice. Cleggerman said, the Switch really had a great run of exclusives. Off the top of my head, and not being able to look at my shelf at home, I think Breath of the Wild and Splatoon were my standouts. Can I say Monster Hunter Rise? It came later on PC, so I don't know if it counts. Haha. Yep, agreed. Great games.
Tenderfoot Ace, Rodney. Sorry for the short story. Too many games to count, really. Gotta say some highlights. Marvel Ultimate Alliance was kind of good. Not great, but nice to see a series return in some form. Speaking of that, the MVC fighting game collection. I mean, what a slam dunk. Super Mario RPG. I've been playing that and loving it. At Jarrett, but the ultimate has to be Tears of the Kingdom. I love the first game, but the second one topped it for me in every way. I will play it on the Switch too, all over again. That's how good it is. My favorite memory is probably playing Smash Ultimate with everyone. Great game, yes, but also just fun to get together, all of us young adults, and play some games. We truly, in that moment, became a Nintendo commercial, and isn't that just beautiful?
Preach, man. Preach.
100%.
Legend Gary, aka Gary from last episode, said, most of my playtime for the Switch was during the first couple of years and definitely teared off in the last two. Here's some highlights for me. ARMS. Yes, believe it or not, I really enjoyed the game and what it had to offer, though I agreed and even echo the criticisms people levied at its gameplay loop and lack of compelling single-player content. It's my secret, not so secret hope. The game gets a sequel on Switch 2 so it can have a second chance. Breath of the Wild, of course, stole nearly over 100 hours of my life away from me. Smash Bros. Ultimate becoming the celebration of video games in general with its insane roster of guest characters is a must-mention. I still get chills from both the Sephiroth and Terry reveal trailers. Astral Chain needs a mention because I don't think anyone else will mention it. I mentioned it. Cool cyberpunk-style character action game. That's a very me-coded game right there. Mario Odyssey is just plain magical. Still need to play Fire Emblem Three Houses and the Xenoblade Chronicles games on Switch, so there are still things I'm looking forward to. Need to echo Tenderfoot Ace about MVC Collection. That announcement made me fall out of my seat during the Direct. The only other game to do that was Metroid Prime 4 when it was initially revealed. All this is to say, I'm happy I waited 6 hours outside of a Best Buy during a cold winter night going into March 3rd, 2017. It was worth it. Thank you, Gary.
Now I rock a teller suit. Rob. Others covered the game as my favorite memory was the surprise reveal of Banjo-Kazooie as a playable character in Smash Ultimate. That was another level of surprise considering BK's Microsoft IP. Another memory is Nintendo opening the vault door wide and re-releasing a bunch of older titles. Will be interesting to see if that trend continues with the Switch 2.
Well said. Alex Travaganza. I think the Switch 2 is going to have a hard time matching the games we've got on the Switch. So many best of the series contenders were released that I can't even keep count. But my favorite game on it is probably Hollow Knight. The Switch was the perfect platform for the game. It's like it was made with the handheld screen in mind. Be prepared for Silk Song to be my favorite in the inevitable Switch 2 look back episode. Yeah.
Christine K Mini. Favorite game on the Switch, Animal Crossing New Horizons. Can't beat those memories from the lockdown times during COVID. The turnip price exchange, the competition to be in the Instagram group chat for it. That was true. And spending hours trying to make the best island with that hard-earned turnip money. A few other games I enjoyed, Mario Kart 8, Ori and the Blind Forest, Rune Factory 5, currently enjoying Fire Emblem's Three Houses.
Thanks, Christine. Finally, with CG Jaden. Where's the charm? Nintendo has lost their way. Pfft, yeah. Making arguably the best entries of each of their franchises isn't what the fans want, apparently. Zelda, Breath of the Wild, 3D Mario, Odyssey, Pikmin 4, the ultimate Pikmin experience, 2D Metroid, okay, probably won't surpass Super Metroid for some, but I loved it, thank you. Animal Crossing, arguably, Luigi's Mansion 3, Smash Bros. Ultimate, Mario Party, Jamboree. I'm probably forgetting one more. They put out nothing but fire this gen, but people will be hung up over the eShop not having music.
Okay, to be fair, it should have music.
Rolls his eyes. What was the question again? Dragon Quest Builders, 4 Hearts. Great game. Great game. Whatever he said.
Guys, I'm really sorry we had to run this really long episode really quickly at the end here, but I appreciate everybody's comments. I appreciate you two coming on this episode and reliving the memories of the Switch, talking about your 5 favorite games from the Switch. Wasn't an easy list to narrow down, but we all did it, and I thank you. We are literally at the last minute for me to cut this off without being cut off completely, so I'm wrapping it up. Thank you for listening, everybody. Thank you for subscribing and you doing all that stuff and yada, yada, yada. And remember to always press X to continue.
I've got my eye, 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 I've got my eye on you.